Scott, thanks very much. We're at the Swamp in Gainesville, where the defending national champions have an 18-game winning streak in front of boisterous sellout crowds of more than 88,000 fans. Tonight, the Auburn Tigers bring a disappointing 2-2 record into Florida Field to face the undefeated and fourth-ranked Florida Gators. Welcome to College Football Primetime, brought to you by Hampton Hotels. It is a warm, humid night in north central Florida as the Gators seek revenge against Auburn, the only team to beat them a year ago. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick, Todd Blackledge. It's great to have you with us. If you look at a scouting report on quarterback Tim Tebow, all you see are positives. Expand it to the intangibles that he brings. Again, nothing but positives. In fact, you can't find anybody to say anything bad about Tim Tebow.
Yeah, he's pretty special. And let's focus, first of all, what he does on the field. He's a tremendous dual-threat quarterback. He's got a big, strong arm, very accurate down the field, and he's developing as a better pocket passer. At 6'3", 235, he's a powerful and fearless runner. But the thing that makes Tim Tebow special is his inner qualities, his charisma, his passion, and an unquenchable desire to win that causes the other Florida players to rally around him and make him their leader.
Now, Auburn could easily be 4-0, but a rash of turnovers has made them 2-2. And if they come here tonight and do the same thing, they don't have a chance.
Yeah, they turned the ball over 10 times in the 2 games they lost. Tough to beat a very average team doing that. But keep this in mind about Auburn. This has been one of the most successful teams in this league over the last few years, particularly on the road. They've won 12 of their last 13 SEC road games. 8 of the 9 times they've played top 10 teams, they've won. If they can protect the football, and if Brandon Cox, their quarterback, plays well tonight and they fly around on defense, this one could be interesting. And if you don't think upsets can happen in college football, you haven't been paying much attention today.
No, 6 of the top 13 teams in the country so far have been knocked off this weekend. To his family and friends, he is known as George Edmondson. From Tampa to the rest of the Gator Nation, he is Mr. Two-Bits, who travels from section to section at Florida Field, leading one of the oldest chants in college football. You think George practices a lot at home? Holly Rowe will work the sidelines for us tonight as usual. And Holly, the Gators, not that they needed it, have a new weapon.
You're right, Mike. They have gotten veteran Andre Caldwell, their wide receiver, back. He's been out the last 2 games with a sprained MCL. He came out about an hour before the game, worked with the athletic trainers, showing them that he could make lateral cuts and run routes. Guys, I'll take it from the man himself. You look at his eye black, it says Cinco's back. If he says so, I believe him, and Urban Meyer says he will likely play. Mike?
They've always had speed on the outside, Holly, and he gives them more. He's averaging almost 28 yards a catch, and here come the Florida Gators. Across the landscape of college football, we're getting set for kickoff. Number 1 USC in action on ABC. Defending champion Florida right here on ESPN. Number 8 Ohio State trying to move up on ESPN2. Who will celebrate tonight?
over until you sick of me. Victory after victory, I prove you can't get with me. My game's unstoppable. My defense that'll stop you fools. Make it hard to move. It's easy to lose when you're going against the best. Now you're being put to the test. Welcome to the Terror Dome. Now you're on your own. We'll see who regulates and who gets to celebrate.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by American Chemistry, essential to living. Learn more at AmericanChemistry.com. eBay, shop victoriously. And Jack's Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side.
The Swamp, Florida Field in Gainesville. They have been playing the series since 1912. Auburn with a slim overall lead, although the Gators have won 8 of the last 10. Auburn won it a year ago, the only Florida loss in a national championship season. That is Brandon James, 9th in the country in kick returns. He started last week's game with a 59-yard gallop. Races up on this and takes it at the 15. James off to the races again. To tell us about the Florida offense, here's basketball coach Billy Donovan.
At quarterback, we have Tim Tebow having a terrific year. Special player, even better person. At wide receiver, we have a great playmaker in Percy Harvin. Get the ball in his hands, a lot of special things happen. At tight end, CI, Cornelius Ingram, former basketball player. Happy to see all of his success. And at center, given the snaps, Drew Miller.
Billy Donovan, who is close to Urban Meyer, both sharing national championship seasons.
Holly right on it because Andre Caldwell is in the game up here to start off first play.
He's number 5. They'll give the ball to Harvin, the electric wide receiver, taken down after a gain of about a yard. For the Auburn defense, here's sack man Quentin Groves.
Thanks, Mike. Opposite me, we got from down bottom Mobile, Alabama, some Derek Marks. Next to him, we got Stump, Wedding Bell, Josh Thompson. And our linebackers are anchored by Craig Stevens, Lincoln, Florida. Next to him is hit stick, Trey Blackman, number 10. And guarding our back, as always, ever dependable J-Dub and Gerard Bowlegged Powell.
Gerard would contend that's not true.
Well, bow-legged or not, this defense can run. And that plays well against this Florida offense. You better be able to run to play them.
Tebow in the shotgun. Gives straight up the middle. And that was to Keyston Moore, the tailback, who's averaging a little over 5 yards a carry.
Last year, when they beat Florida in Auburn, Quentin Groves had 3 sacks of Chris Lee. They scored a defensive touchdown. They scored a special teams touchdown. They beat him by 10 without scoring an offensive touchdown, and the defense dominated the game in the second half.
Gators with 5 wide receivers. Auburn shows a 4-man rush. Gators move up front. That's what Groves does as a pass rusher. He gets people out of their stance in a hurry. Carlton Metter moved number 73.
Prior to the snap, false start, 73 on offense, penalty 5 yards, down remains 3rd.
And this would be very helpful to that Auburn defense to keep the Gators in these 3rd and long situations. Although that guy seemingly can convert anything. Tebow sits in the pocket, throws incomplete. Was intended for face-on.
And that's exactly what Will Muschamp, the defensive coordinator, said they wanted to do against Tim Tebow. They said they wanted to make him throw the football to beat them. Make him read coverage and come off to 2nd or 3rd receivers, because right now that's his weakness as a quarterback. If there's one chink in his armor as a player right now, it's just being able to reset his feet and come off to secondary receivers. That time not accurate, and they got the turn, force the punt.
Chris Henry to punt to Robert Dunn. No one so far this year has returned a single Florida punt. One of the reasons why I think is sky high. And they run that spread punt formation and get guys downfield. 44-yard punt. Again, there is no return. To tell us about the Tiger offense, here's quarterback Brandon Cox.
At fullback, we have Carl Hollywood Stewart. At receiver, we have the playmaker, Rod Smith, and at tight end, Cole Bennett. On the offensive line, we have a few young guys anchored by right tackle Lee Zimba and the leader of that offensive line, center Jason Bosley.
Again, two teams unusually in the SEC with extremely young offensive lines. And Brandon Cox starts the offense, giving it on the ground to Ben Tate. To tell us about that Gator defense, once again, here's Billy Donovan.
Starting on the defensive line, Derek Harvey likes to make a living, spending a lot of times in opposing teams' backfields. In the middle at linebacker, Brandon Spikes really has done a great job clogging up the middle for the Gators. And at safety, Tony Joyner, a real big hitter back there.
Tate is the deep man in the eye behind Cox. Under pressure, and down he goes. They hit him low.
He's hurt, too.
Yes, he is. A little slow to get up.
Well, he popped up, but Derek Harvey got him. He was the first guy there. You just heard Billy Donovan saying he likes to make a living in opponent's backfield. He's coming away from Brandon Cox and got right into the legs. It wasn't a dirty hit. Cox just didn't see him. He saw the other defensive end coming at him. Jermaine Cunningham, number 49, did not see Derek Harvey.
Harvey just got his 4th sack of the year. He leads the club. And boy, that was frightening for a second for Brandon Cox. This is the situation that's hurt them, 3rd and long. He's tried to force some things and gotten in trouble. There's a screen to Tate. There is a flag down on the play. Tate stays on his feet across the 20. Now we'll check the penalty.
I think what Auburn wants to do, and I mentioned it, it's very important for Brandon Cox to play well in this game. Now, this isn't his first rodeo. This is his 25th start as a quarterback at Auburn. He's been in loud stadiums. We wait for the call. I think Auburn will be fairly conservative early in this game to give their defense a chance. They believe their defense can play with Florida. It's their offense that has been their stumbling block so far in the first month of the season. Their offense needs to take care of the ball, be a little conservative, and let their defense play.
Now they're talking to Cox. And I think Tommy Tuberville is saying,
well, he wants to know how much they need for a first down and what the penalty, what the difference in the yardage would be.
If they turned it down, they'd be facing a 4th and 1, so you'd think they'd take the penalty and have another 3rd down.
Take another shot at it.
Offsides, 91 on the defense. The penalty declined. 4th down.
Well, again, now here's your conservative Tommy Tuberville. He's saying, look, our punter's been good. Our defense has been good. Let's not go another 3rd down and 11, 3rd down and 10 against this defense in the swamp. I told you, they're going to be conservative early.
Well, there's conservative and there's conservative.
This is pretty far right, I would say.
Yes, it is. Shoemaker is back from a dislocated elbow, will punt to James.
That's going to be a roughing the punter. He can't get his flag out, but that was definitely roughing the punter.
And they didn't need any more than running into to get the 1st down. 31-yard kick. Now we'll check the flag.
Yeah, now that decision looks pretty smart, doesn't it?
It still looks ultra conservative.
It was very conservative.
It's right of the hash mark. Let's put it that way.
It was a blocked punt in the game last year by Auburn that turned the game around in the first possession of the 3rd quarter. First punt tonight for Auburn. Florida going
Running
after
into the kicker, number 5 on the defense. The penalty 5 yards. Result of the play.
Bubba Caldwell anxious to be back in the game, not just as a wide receiver, also coming in to try to block a punt. Actually, it's Cornelius Ingram, number 7, who made the contact, and that's a big guy. I mean, when he hits you, you're not going to do that secretly. He's 6'4", about 245 pounds. Just didn't take a good angle to the football.
And as much as Shoemaker was involved, they're lucky that was not a roughing call. Try a little trickery as Cody Burns comes in and tosses it to Robert Dunn on the reverse, and that goes nowhere. Burns is one of those multi-purpose guys who they want to play in certain situations.
Well, that was good, sound defense by Florida. Tommy Tuberville told me before the game, the first play that Burns comes in, we're going to run a reverse. They're going to expect him to run power. We'll do something different, but Florida stayed at home on the backside and made the play behind the line of scrimmage.
Burns from Arkansas, a true freshman. Came in a relief 2 games ago, started the last one. And then Cox got his job back as he came in relief and led them to 5 touchdowns against New Mexico State. Tate takes it up to the 24-yard line. Todd, how about tonight's X Factor presented by Dell?
Well, when you're talking about Auburn, first of all, they've got to win the turnover battle, and they've got to win special teams. For Florida, they got to stuff the run because everything that Auburn likes to do in their passing game comes off of play-action pass. And the only way play-action pass is effective is if the running game is somewhat effective. And as long as Auburn's staying behind the chains like they are these first 2 possessions, very tough to set up your play-action pass.
3rd and very long. Cox will go to the shotgun. Gators show blitz, come with 5. They block it pretty well, and a perfect strike for a first down out at the 45. Rodriguez Smith, who was averaging 23 yards a catch, turns in 21 there.
Well, this is excellent protection up front. Again, you've got 3 true freshmen starting. Plenty of time for Brandon Cox to step up in the pocket, step into that throw, and that has been his go-to receiver. Roderick Smith has been the guy that Brandon Cox has looked to in the first month of the season. His 12th catch of the year.
Cox, play action fake, throws to the near sideline. Smith again across midfield, reversing his field, looking for a block. One more man to beat. If he had beaten that tackle cleanly of Wandy Pierre-Louis, he's gone.
This is the best thing that could happen for Auburn, is having something good happen to them early offensively. Again, I think they felt very comfortable with their defense and how they matched up defensively against this potent Florida offense. But it's the Auburn offense that has struggled. They got a little help with the roughing the punter penalty, and they've hit a couple passes here, and they've got some nice momentum going on this drive.
The Gators do not have a terrific secondary. They've got a lot of speed back there, but they've got a lot of learning to do.
Where they have been really good, though, is stopping the run. They are 2nd in the league, 5th in the country coming into tonight's game, only allowing 54 yards per game rushing. And again, that's the real test for Auburn, because they've got to keep trying to run to set up that play-action pass.
And with only 2 returning starters, that's a conscious decision, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can't do everything, so we're going to make sure we stop the run.
Right. We'll play more zone defense if we have to in the back end, but let's stop one thing and try to make them one-dimensional.
Cox, another perfect strike down to the 30, and another first down. Montez Billings, who had been out, makes only his 2nd catch of the year. And you got to love Brandon Cox. He will stand in there knowing whatever is coming, it doesn't make any difference.
Well, like I said, this is not his first rodeo. He's played some good ball for Auburn. Now, he's been off to a rough start this year. He's actually thrown it to the wrong colored jerseys more this year than he has at any time in his career. But he came off the bench last week and played extremely well against New Mexico State, and he's off to an excellent start tonight.
6 interceptions, 3 touchdown passes so far this year. Fannin, nice cutback. Fannin inside the 20, another first down to the 19. A very impressive drive for Auburn. Brandon Spikes missed a tackle.
It came with a little motion by the wide receiver to crack back on the inside linebacker. They get a couple linemen pulled out there. Jason Bosley, number 68, the center, is out there leading on that play. And a nice mix of run-pass right now for Auburn. Al Borges, the offensive coordinator, mixing it up very well against this young Florida defense. There's Al.
10 plays, 67 yards so far. Fannin is the tailback. They'll play 3 at that position tonight. Cox throws the slant complete inside the 10. Rodriguez Smith made that catch again. And Brandon Cox has been right on the number.
He's been right. I mean, he's throwing in rhythm. He's comfortable in the pocket. He's trusting his protection. And again, Florida, because of their youth at corner, because of their inexperience in the secondary, more zone defense than they played at any time last year. Last year, with the corners they had and with the free safety they had in Reggie Nelson, they were a man-to-man press coverage with a free safety almost all the time. This year, they just are not able to play that way. And the zone coverage right now, there are holes in that zone that Brandon Cox is finding.
And right now, this passing attack for Auburn coming into the ball game was 99th in the country, only averaging 173 yards a game. That just illustrates the struggles that you were talking about. But Cox, don't ever sell this kid short. He won 11 games last year and took a beating while he was doing it. He's 5 out of 5 on this drive. Tate is back in behind Stewart, the fullback.
Movement up front.
Now Auburn's going to say Florida made a move to draw him. Florida's going to say the opposite thing, and I think Florida's going to win.
The left tackle, Ryan Pugh, one of those 3 true freshmen that's up there. He's from Hoover, Alabama.
Prior to the snap, ball start. Number 50 on the offense, 25 yards down the main side.
There was movement across the line from a Florida defender, but Ryan Pugh's got a hold in there.
True freshman on the road to Florida. Not easy.
Not easy. 3 of them. 2 of them.
That would be not easy, not easy, not easy.
That's right.
Tate looked like he tripped over his own man. That may have been Pugh as he caught a piece of his leg and went down. Might have had another 5 yards had he stayed up.
I think he clearly would have had the first down inside the 10-yard line had he stayed up on that one. And the other thing with Florida, they are not particularly big on the inside of their defense. They're fast. They're a very fast defense, but their defensive tackles are not the biggest guys that you're going to find in the SEC. And Auburn doing some damage running the football so far tonight.
This will be the 13th play of this drive. Tate trying to get outside, looks for a block, first down to the 7.
Boy, did a great job.
The big guy, Tyrone Green, out in front.
And he did a great job of waiting and being patient and staying behind Tyrone Green. Sometimes a back will get in a hurry and try to get that yardage on his own, but he waited and he let big Tyrone Green get out there in front of him. Watch the patience that Tate shows. Let 71 make the block and then just cut right inside of him and easily pick up the first down.
Tyrone's listed at 308. He looks like he's a happy meal away from 350, though. Nice job pulling for the big guy and a 1st and goal for Auburn.
Florida has been outstanding defensively in the red zone to this point. Cody Burns in the game. Power run is his main thing down here. There he goes.
Quarterback draw inside the 5. Touchdown. So Brandon Cox does the work, takes them the length of the field. The freshman comes in and gets the board.
Doesn't matter how you get it done. That was excellent teamwork, and that was a little bit of, hey, Tim Tebow, we can do this too. What a drive by the Auburn Tigers. 14 plays, 86 yards. They used 7 minutes and 32 seconds. And again, the roughing the punter helped them to keep going. But after that penalty, they were impressive.
And that does so many different things for the Auburn Tigers. Bynum for the point after. Kid is a terrific freshman kicker. And the Auburn Tigers, nearly 3 touchdown underdogs, break on top 7-0 in Gainesville. Available on ESPN HD, presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. 6 out of the top 13 teams in college football have already lost this weekend. Florida is a top 4 team, 3-1 poll, 4 in the other. And Auburn trying to avoid an 0-2 start for the first time in forever. A lot lot of stuff going on here. James and Moore are deep. And Auburn's got to be sky high right now. James at the 7. And taken down at the 38. Let's go back to that touchdown. It was a beauty.
Well, it was a beauty, and 3 great blocks right here. Ben Tate, the center, Jason Bosley, and the tight end, the backup tight end, Tommy Trott. Watch all 3 guys. Bosley and Tate will get the linebackers. Tommy Trott will get the strong safety. All 3 guys get on a block, and a beautiful end to an outstanding drive for the Auburn Tigers.
Holly Rowe, what do you have?
Well, guys, Florida defensive coordinator Greg Madison was just telling his freshman linebacker A.J. Jones, hey, you got to help us call out the strong side. 2 times on that drive for the touchdown, we were lined up wrong.
Well, something didn't go right on that entire drive. Tebow on a roll and throws complete. He got that one to Riley Cooper for a minimal gain. Let's check in with Scott Van Pelt. He has a Sports Under 30 at 30. Scott.
Well, Mike, the baseball season is winding down, and don't you know the Mets have finally won, putting an end to their horrendous skid. Meanwhile, the Phillies get doubled up by those pesky Nationals who were just beating up on the Mets. So the Mets and Phils head into the final game of the season deadlocked in the National League East. You Florida fans may be keeping an eye on the Noles. It was a 14-7 game with Alabama until Dakota Fagg takes the pass from Xavier Lee and takes it to the house. Florida State leads 21-7. We'll get back to Mike Patch.
Scott, thank you much. And the Florida Gators trying to get a first down here with Tebow on the keeper. Urban Meyer, in his 3rd season, has a ridiculous record. 26-4. 26-4.
And he hasn't lost here in the Swamp. You know, he said when he came here, one of the first things he said is, we want to take back the Swamp. You know, Steve Spurrier owned the Swamp when he was here. Ron Zook had some struggles at home. He's yet to lose here. And he thought last week what happened over in Oxford was the perfect medicine for his team. He thought they'd be ready to play tonight, but they have their hands full right now with this Auburn bunch.
Tebow 3rd and an inch. The big quarterback goes straight ahead to whistle the play dead.
You know, I think it's going to be a dead ball, a penalty against Florida. That's going to back him up 5.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offensive guard, penalty 5 yards, down remains 3rd.
You mentioned the game last week against Mississippi State. Coaches are always looking for something negative so they can work on their kids and make them better. That time they won the game, but they didn't play well, and it gave them a lot to work with.
Yeah, well, their defense, you know, kind of gave up a big lead late in the game. They gave up some big plays. They had 14 penalties for 127 yards, a lot of which were mental mistakes, just like that last one right there.
Tebow flushed out of the pocket. And look at that swarming defense.
And look at Will Muschamp, the defensive coordinator, right over there throwing the headsets off and patting his guys on the helmets, because that's what Auburn has to do. Fly to the football, make tackles in space. They've got the speed to line up and play with Florida, but they still have to make the plays in space to stop this offense.
They used Keyston Moore in motion, threw him a little safety valve check down, and he was just buried.
And so far they've done what they've wanted to do with Tim Tebow. Hit him when he runs and make him look for secondary receivers when he throws.
Henry to punt to Dunn, who's averaging over 12.5 yards a return. But Florida doesn't get kicks returned. They still haven't had one run back this year. When we come back, we'll get Todd's take on how the top 10 was shaken up this weekend.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by Volkswagen. When you get into a Volkswagen, it gets into you.
Sellout crowd here at the University of Florida facing the Auburn Tigers. The sellout crowd not having any fun yet. They're down 7-0. The number 4 team in the land saw Brandon Cox hit all 5 passes on an opening drive after he was shaken up. Now he's 6 for 6. Check it. Whoa. Boy, there is a late hit.
Yeah.
That's going to cost him 15 as the ball was dropped. Cody Burns, they threw it to him in a flat, and he just got killed by Dustin Doe.
And he was defenseless because he knew he dropped the ball, and he just relaxed his body.
I think one of the officials is going to come in and try to point out that the defender may not have known the ball was dropped, but it's pretty tough to sell that one.
The other thing is, and you know, obviously we're up here, but I didn't hear any whistles blow either. And usually, you know, on an incomplete pass, the whistle blows right away. Now, there may have been some question as to whether it was a lateral or not because it was a quick screen.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. We have dead ball fouls against Florida, dead ball fouls against Auburn. By rule, those fouls automatically decline. Second down.
So the penalty's offset. I did not see the retaliation.
No, I didn't either.
Apparently neither did Tommy Tuberville.
Well, here's the drop. I mean, he drops the ball, and then he picks it up, and he gets hit.
Now, somebody comes in late in the play. Looked like a lineman comes in here. Watch from behind.
Right there, Jason Bosley, the center. All right. Well, you know what? That's probably a good call because I don't think that Dustin Doe heard the whistle or knew the play was done because Cody Burns had picked the ball back up. And as far as Dustin Doe knew, it was still a live play.
Cody Burns will take issue with you.
Cody Burns better leave that ball on the ground next time.
That's right.
Walk away from the ball, my man.
Cox wants a timeout. 4:04 on the first quarter clock from Gainesville. We'll be back after this.
ESPN salutes the Southeastern Conference. 75 years of excellence in collegiate athletics.
Happy 75th anniversary. We don't even know what to get you for 75 years. Second and 10 for Brandon Cox in Auburn. Draw play. Fannin. 30. Up to the 32 before he's driven back. Very close to the first down sticks.
Well, you have to like the way Auburn's young offensive line is playing so far. Their offensive line coach is Hugh Knoll. He was a former lineman at Georgia, played on their '80 national championship team, and Auburn has had outstanding offensive lines over the last several years. You see Mario Fannin get outside the pursuit of the defense. 3 true freshmen, and Hugh says, you know, these guys don't always know who they're supposed to block, but they go 100 miles an hour every play. There's Hugh Knoll. He's got to be very pleased right now with the way his young unit is playing up there.
3rd and inches. And that's the fullback, Stewart. Looks like he's got the first down before he stopped by Derek Harvey. Here's Holly Rowe.
Hey, guys, this is just kind of interesting. I have a source down here on the sideline that helped me understand that last ruling on that late hit. He said that by rule, a whistle does not necessarily stop the play. A player has an inherent responsibility to see when a play is dead. So the defensive player, when he sees it's an incomplete pass, he does have a responsibility whether or not there is a whistle to stop.
Tough sometimes you're being blocked and you don't see the play and then get off the block and try to make a hit. But thank you, Holly. That does clear it up. Cox, play action fake, throws over the middle and complete. What a nice catch by Montez Billings. Here's Scott Van Pelt. Scott?
Mike, thank you very much. Ohio State trying to avoid the fate that so many ranked teams have endured on this Saturday, and Beanie Wells is making sure that they're not. That's 1 touchdown. Let's do it again, shall we? Beanie taking it to the paint, and Minnesota's defense really been struggling. Ohio State looking like they might just open up a can. 14-0 first quarter, Mike.
Oh, Scott, those uniforms.
The mustard and maroon.
There's movement up front. The left guard jump. That's big Tyrone Green.
Let's see what's going good for Auburn.
False start. 73 on the offense. Penalty 5 yards. Down remain first.
What's going well for Auburn right now is the fact that they're running with some success enough to keep the Florida defense guessing and make play action and the different things that Brandon Cox does well effective. And he is very accurate right now. He's comfortable. They aren't getting a lot of pressure on him, but it's because they've run with just enough success to keep that Florida defense guessing.
1st and 15 to 46. Fannin nowhere to go. Breaks a tackle, will lose a yard.
Todd, some weekend, right? Absolutely. I mean, you know, everybody's pointing to next weekend being the big weekend in college football, but this one, South Florida on Friday night, are they the new beast in the East? You have to ask that question now, especially with Rutgers losing, upset by Maryland. The Red River fallout, both Oklahoma and Texas looking forward to that game next week. Both of them get beat in upset fashion today. And then who's the big challenger for USC in the Pac-10? You got to say Cal right now. An impressive win for Jeff Tedford's group against Oregon at Autzen Stadium up in Eugene.
And when 6 out of the top 13 lose, you have to think about opportunities missed for those teams to move up. Cox, Rodriguez Smith makes another catch down to the 48. You know, Cox has acquitted himself beautifully.
Yeah.
They don't want him in 1st and 15, 2nd and long, and he's made those plays.
See, you know what he did too is he comes into this game with a lot of confidence, because when he came off the bench last week against New Mexico State, he was excellent. He was 13 of 19, 135 yards. He checked it down to the backs. He was right in rhythm. He was very accurate, and he's picked up right where he left off on the road against a much better football team.
He's 7 out of 8. The one that was incomplete was dropped by Cody Burns, the backup quarterback. Pressure coming. They pick it up, and now Cox is swamped back at the 45-yard line. Had no chance that time. Justin Tratto, Derek Harvey were 2 of the 3 players that met at the quarterback.
And the only thing that he could have done there is maybe just thrown this one away. But it's better to take a sack and punt the football and hope you pin Florida deep than to throw one in the wrong place. And again, that's the one thing Brandon Cox has done worse this year is his touchdown to interceptions. Only 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions coming into the game tonight in his senior season.
Shoemaker to kick to James, who's 3rd in the country in punt returns. That's a returnable kick. James back to the 6. Drilled as he got to the 18. 49-yard kick. And that will end the first quarter at Florida Field. Auburn surprising the defending national champions 7-0 on primetime Saturday Night Football. Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. The Gators shut out in the first quarter. On top of that, they don't have a first down yet.
Yeah. Well, look at the ball control Auburn has had, and the biggest thing is they've converted some 3rd downs. 3 of 5 coming into the game, worst in the SEC on 3rd down conversions.
Tebow, little option read, tossed to Faison, and Faison is dumped on top of his head by Aaron Savage, the strong safety. Back to Scott Van Pelt.
Mike, thanks very much. A look at the primetime pulse. The games going on the family of networks. Ohio State in control up in Minnesota. Meanwhile, USC scoreless quarter against Washington. That's a better team than they've been in years past. Meanwhile, Auburn, they lead Florida. I tell you, Mike Todd upsets aplenty. Home team trying to prevent one up there in Gainesville.
It's not been easy so far, Scott.
Okay, this is the guy that Florida's got to get the ball to soon here. Percy Harvin. He's the difference maker for them. They got to get him involved in the game. They need a spark.
He's the kid with incredible quickness and speed. They get it to him here. Has a little seam up to the 28-yard line. Should be enough for a first down. And Zach Etheridge, second on this team in tackles, made that stop.
You know, he's a very, very talented guy. Great make-you-miss ability, speed in the open field. And really, his play out of the backfield is what caused a lot of problems for Auburn last year. They were anticipating him as a receiver. They weren't expecting him as a running back. They're a little better prepared for that tonight. But Percy Harvin is the guy that every time he touches it, good things happen for Florida.
He was the top wide receiver prospect in the country coming out of high school from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Averaging 16 yards a catch so far. And they'll whistle this one dead.
We had 11 catches last week.
Florida. First time out.
Gators will use a timeout with 13:41 to go first half. They're down 7-0. Meyer sporting one of the longest win streaks in the country. They're in third right now. Wisconsin with 13, LSU with 12. Both of those teams scared at least for a while today. And the Gators having a scare, and Tebow is popped as he got out to the 32-yard line. It's a big kid, about 235, 240 pounds.
And he's powerful, and he's fearless when he runs. He is not afraid to stick his nose in there. He's not a guy that's looking to get down or looking to run out of bounds. He carried the ball 27 times last week against Ole Miss, and really, you know, they weren't all designed quarterback runs. Maybe 5 or 6 were scrambles on a pass play call, but at the end of the game, when they needed to hold the ball and win the game, he was the only guy that ran it.
From the 32, Tebow throws complete to Faison. What's a big game without a pie chart, you ask? Well, take a look at the Gators 2 deep. And they are very young. There's a lot of young ball clubs in the SEC this year. You take a look at the freshmen, take a look at the sophomores. 66% of the guys who play the most are underclassmen. 66%. And here they are, number 4 in the country.
It's a little scary.
You think Urban Meyer can recruit? Tebow on 30-yard likes to run here, but he's going to throw instead. Ingram up to the 43-yard line. Their offense looks like it has a little more rhythm right now.
Well, that was one where they see what Auburn's calling on defense. They change it from the sideline, and then Tebow's got that big target and Cornelius Ingram out there in the flat. You know, you match up with the receivers on the outside, the speed guys, and then you've got to also account for the big guy inside, Cornelius Ingram. 13 catches coming into the ball game tonight, a couple touchdowns.
And all these guys have ludicrous averages. Over 16 yards a catch and up. Harvin, the man in motion. Tebow overthrown by a step. Patrick Lee on Andre Caldwell.
Well, the one thing you don't know about Andre Caldwell, if he's going to be as good right now on quick moves or breaks or cuts to the outside, but he looks good running the takeoff pattern. But
So
Patrick Lee, absolutely, right there with him. Reading the eyes of Caldwell and right there to make a play.
Caldwell coming off a sprained MCL, missed Tennessee and Ole Miss. Go with 5 wides again. On 2nd and 10 for Tebow. Four-man rush. Perfect strike to Harvin. And a late hit. That'll cost him 15 more. Gain of 20. Tack on the 15 for 35. Big mistake by Aaron Savage, number 2.
And anybody that wonders whether Tim Tebow can throw the football, he's got an excellent arm, and he's very accurate. When he gets his feet set, he throws on time. He's got Harvin open on the corner route, and then Aaron Savage, I don't know if he just didn't even know where the sideline was. That's a needless penalty by Aaron Savage.
Got to wonder what he's thinking. He hit him 5-6 yards out of bounds.
You know, you don't want to help Florida. I mean, you want to make them work for everything, earn everything they get. You don't help them with a 15-yard gift. They're too good to do that.
Gators with their best scoring chance. 1st and 10 from the 23. Tebow, that little half roll under pressure. Now he's going to go back to the weak side for Harvin, incomplete. And Harvin was bumped between the 5-yard line and the goal line, but no flag. Patrick Lee, again, doing the best he can one-on-one coverage.
Well, what this was trying to do, Tim Tebow is rolling to his left to try to bring the whole defense and all the safeties with him and leave single coverage for Percy Harvin, who shows quick screen and then runs the takeoff. But again, Patrick Lee right there. It was on Caldwell a couple plays ago. This time, he's right there with Percy Harvin. They tried to fool him and isolate him, but he was not fooled on the play.
Patrick Lee, the senior, already acquitted himself very well here. Tebow facing another 2nd and 10. Can't find anybody. Hangs onto the ball. Will not go out of bounds and taken down at the 20-yard line. At some point, they've got to teach him to get out of bounds and slide when he's got all he's going to get. There's no sense trying to get the extra foot and taking a shot.
Well, good luck with that. I mean, based on what we know about him and what Urban Meyer's told us about him as being the ultimate warrior and the most competitive guy he's ever been around at any level, I think you might convince him to step out of bounds, but I don't think you'll ever see him slide, ever.
He said he had Tebow come over to his house, play one-on-one basketball, and never do that again.
Yeah. Or volleyball. They'll play volleyball with him either.
3rd and long. Tebow sets in the pocket, throws underneath to Harvin. That was beautifully defended by Aaron Savage. He stayed right with the speedy wide receiver and stopped him short of a 1st down, and they'll have to try a field goal.
What you're seeing from Auburn is you're seeing that they have speed on defense and the ability to run with this Florida offense.
If you just joined us, glad you could be with us on a Saturday night, and you are seeing Ehas set up for a 34-yard field goal to try to get the Gators on the board. They are down 7-0 to the visiting Auburn Tigers. Ehas 3 on 4 and field goals, and it's blocked. Florida cannot advance that ball.
It was a block punt last year that turned the game around in Auburn. We talked about Auburn. What do they have to do? The Dell X factor. They've got to win turnovers, and they've got to win special teams. They get the stop on 3rd down with a good tackle in space, and then they come away with the block of the field goal. They get to push inside. Hard for me to see right there who it was. Right in the middle, 95. Nice block in there. Pat Sims getting the push, and Derek Marks, number 94, in there as well. What a big play.
Mark says, I got it.
Yeah.
The starting defensive end playing on special teams, and the lead holds at 7-0. Everything has gone Auburn's way. Tate on the draw, spins forward to the 23. Taken down by McMillan, Gators defensive tackle.
Again, right now for Auburn, they've got to keep what they're doing, protect the football. Brandon Cox, be smart with it, make good solid throws, and let their defense play, because their defense is playing well and playing with confidence right now.
Red zone alert from Minnesota in case you want to update yourself on that game against Ohio State. Cox bobbled, but then caught by Big Gabe McKenzie, the tight end, his 12th grab of the year. Had a couple of touchdown catches, and he has a 1st down. Nice concentration by McKenzie.
Nice little combination route on the outside. Quick throw for Brandon Cox. Quick 3-step drop, get it out of your hands. McKenzie focuses on the football and turns upfield and gets very close, actually does get the 1st down.
They have kept the crowd out of it for the most part. They got the lead on a great drive. Their defense has been solid. Everything Tommy Tuberville wanted out of the Auburn Tigers he's gotten so far. Cox, another completion, this time to the fullback Stewart, who comes out of the backfield and grabs one for 21. Brandon Cox is having a sensational ball game.
Well, Stewart went in short motion. They faked it to Tate, and then he gets isolated out there against this young secondary. And Brandon Cox just drops it right into a bucket there. And there was a hole around 3 defenders, and he dropped it right in the bucket. And that is a quarterback who's feeling it tonight. I mean, he is on his game.
Look at those numbers, and the one was dropped. A perfect throw to his backup, Cody Burns. And at the end of that play, that could have easily been another 15 yards against the Gators for a late hit. Tate. Both of his blockers were taken down at the line of scrimmage, and Tate did the rest by himself. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, I know Brandon Cox got off to a slow start this season, but Al Borges, his offensive coordinator, said he's one of the most underappreciated guys in the SEC. Last year, he got sacked 34 times, played with a badly sprained ankle, a bursa sac in his knee. He said, you know, John Wayne would have given a performance like that. He would have gotten an Oscar. Brandon Cox got booed at home. Guys, he's already taken 2 brutal hits, got bent in half, and then got his helmet popped off tonight. This kid's playing very tough.
You know, I don't think there was ever a question about his toughness or his competitiveness. It's just early in the season this year, for whatever reason, Brandon Cox tried to force some things. He tried to do some things that he's not really comfortable doing. And I think the biggest reason was Auburn did not run the football as well early in the year as they are doing tonight, or as they're accustomed to doing. And everything that Auburn likes to do in their passing game starts with their running game. Now, their rushing game has gotten better each game. They ran for 62 yards against Kansas State, then 125 against South Florida, 216 against Mississippi State. Last week, 229, their best game of the year. And they're running well enough tonight to keep him very comfortable throwing the football.
And to work the clock, 8:55 to go first half. Fannin checks back in. We have yet to see Tristan Davis, who was the fastest of the tailbacks. He's going to get a chance tonight, hopefully, for his first action of the season. Cox, good protection by the front wall, and throws another perfect strike for a first down. Montez Billings with 3 catches tonight. That was for 25, and Cox, it'd be just as easy to take it down and hand it to him 25 yards downfield.
Well, and you mentioned it. They're keeping the crowd out of it. And because of that, they're able to audible and make checks at the line of scrimmage. This was a check off at the line of scrimmage, and Brandon Cox found what he wanted, running down the seam, and hits Montrez Billings right down the seam of the defense. But it's all because he was able to check at the line of scrimmage with this crowd a little quieter.
Now Cody Burns comes in. 1st and 10 at the 13. Last time they ran this same play, quarterback draw, almost the same result. He's down to the 9. From left to right, that offensive line. Pugh is a freshman, Green a junior, Bosley a junior, Ramsey a freshman, and Zimba a freshman.
Yeah. The only returning starter they had from last year was a senior, King Dunlap, who is not even here tonight. He's home. He's got an elbow injury. He hasn't been playing as well this season as they thought he might. He's been hurt. And they're going with the youngsters right now, and they are playing extremely well.
2nd and 6. Cox is back in. Fakes. Throws for the end zone. That could easily be a flag. Smith certainly wants one, but he won't get it, as Pierre-Louis jumped early and appeared he made contact before the ball got there.
This is a heck of a play. They had what they wanted, one-on-one. They go with the bootleg, set up by the running play. Watch the play. Pierre-Louis over the top. That's a great play. That's an outstanding athletic play by Pierre-Louis. He didn't have his left hand on the receiver. He went over the top with his right hand and knocked the ball away.
Replay's great stuff, isn't it?
That was good there.
Crowd on its feet. Cox flushed. Cox dives inside the 5 to the 4. Needed to get to the 3 for a first down.
But a good decision by Brandon Cox. We're playing well. We've got momentum. Worst case scenario here, we set up for a field goal and take a 10-point lead. I think Tommy's got to kick the field goal here, doesn't he?
Well, I'm thinking if they're going to stay with that very conservative philosophy, you'd have to. And here goes conservative.
Yeah.
We've just gone back to Hillary's side of the field.
The coaches are on the field. I think they're going to call a timeout. Yeah, they called a timeout. Tommy's going to kick the football, I think, here. His defense is playing well. Wow.
Timeout, 6:44 to go in the half.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Hyundai. Now there are more reasons to check out a new Hyundai. Visit HyundaiUSA.com. And AT&T. Your world delivered.
Welcome back to Florida Field. 4th and a yard and a half. Auburn lining up to go for it.
He's bobbing his head. They're trying to draw him off here.
Drawing him off is not a first down.
No.
They'll go with Tate, and Tate has a first down. What a gamble, and it paid off.
Now, here's what I understand about Tommy Tuberville here. You're not going to beat Florida here, the most prolific offense in the SEC, by kicking field goals. You're going to have to beat them by scoring touchdowns. But my goodness, I'm shocked. I thought for sure he'd kick there.
Doesn't 10-0 look pretty good to you? You're a 3-touchdown underdog?
Absolutely it does. But he's right now thinking 14-0 looks even better.
Boy, didn't get a very good spot on that one either. Bringing the sticks, but they made it.
On the road, 3 freshman offensive linemen.
Yes, sir. The stars are aligning correctly. What a courageous call by Tommy Tuberville, who has been an outrageous success at Auburn in his 9 years.
Now, here would be the perfect time for Al Borges to call play action and throw the football on first down after getting that big 4th down play.
Got Billings and Dunn to the left, Smith to the right. Tate the tailback. Tate gets the carry.
Wow, he's in.
Ball over the line, touchdown.
This is something. They spread him out to make it look like pass, and they spread out that Florida defense a little bit by formation, and then just ran the inside zone play. And Ben Tate stretched over the goal line. You see his knees weren't down because he landed on top of one of his own players and was able to reach the ball over for the touchdown.
How
I think they're going to take a look at this.
And I think you're right about his knees. He was stretched out. His knees hadn't touched the ground. Tommy Tuberville said this week, we thought we should be 4-0, but we're not. We've got to start playing better. Well, from that angle, 73 Zimba is blocking the view. This is better. The knee could be down. If it is, it's about a half yard away.
Before the ball reached out.
That's the beauty of this replay system. Everything is reviewed. And the coaches, if they think they have a bad review, have 1 challenge per game.
The knee was definitely down. The question was, had the ball broken the plane first? And it doesn't look like it did. You could definitely see the knee bounce off the turf. Now, it was ruled a touchdown, so in order to overturn it, has to be indisputable evidence on those replays. I think it is too.
Well, first we thought it was a touchdown. Now we think it wasn't. If we had a third opinion, we'd give you that one too.
Right. But what we do know is that Auburn has come to play tonight on both sides of the ball. Brandon Cox has looked sharp.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
Little surprised at that. If Florida, which is now down 13-0, goes down to Auburn at the end of the night, 7 of the top 13 teams would have lost this weekend. Count it. 7. It's unbelievable. The point after by Byram is good. We go back to last year's meeting for tonight's Good Hands Flashback, presented by Allstate, October 14th at Auburn. Trey Smith with a touchdown off the block punt. Then Chris Leak fumbles at the Auburn 21. A mistake-filled game for the Gators. Leak was then intercepted by Eric Brooks. You'll see that one here. And Auburn scores 19 unanswered to win it 27-17, the only loss for Urban Meyer and his Gators last year.
Take a look. When they've beaten them the last 3 times, it's been pretty important games. Florida ranked number 1 in '94, ranked number 1 in 2001, and number 2 last year. Number 4 coming into the ball game tonight. Now, last year they won that game, did not score an offensive touchdown. They scored a defensive touchdown, a special teams touchdown, kicked 4 field goals, had a safety. Tonight, the first 14 points thanks to Brandon Cox and the Auburn offense.
quiet in here, didn't it? Oh, you can hear some drummers. Nobody's making any noise at all. Little did they expect. Down 14-0.
Like we talked about, this has been one of the best road teams in the conference for the last 3 or 4 years, Auburn.
James will keep it there. Monday, 2 of the top offenses in the AFC collide as the Patriots take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern. Our coverage starts at 7 with Monday Night Countdown. And do not discount the fact that even with all the stuff swirling around him, that Bill Belichick is not a genius, because he is certifiable.
He's a genius, and if it weren't for a guy named Manning, Tom Brady, would be by far, hands down, the best thing going at that position, too. That's quite a combination, those two.
You can make a living with either quarterback, can you?
Yeah.
See if the Gators can get anything going late here in the first half. Tebow will start from the 20. And take it straight ahead. And Auburn has really been prepared for his running game. Here's Scott Van Pelt.
A Taco Bell update. We take you to the great Northwest. USC, as they have in their losses over the past couple years, looking sluggish on the road. Jake Lockett, a great-looking quarterback, takes it in, but John David Booty, Patrick Turner, USC responds, coming right back down the field. They even it up, but everywhere you look, ranked teams are struggling, guys.
Tell you what, just surviving this weekend, Scott, is going to turn out to be a huge deal. Harvin comes in motion. They give it straight up the middle to Moore for a couple. Pat Sims makes the tackle.
I think Pat Sims and Josh Thompson in there on the inside are doing a nice job of just taking up space and stopping the inside runs. The tackles that they're rotating through on the inside are doing a nice job stopping any kind of inside run, whether it's Keyston Moore, whether it's Tim Tebow. And then the speed guys, the secondary and the linebacker, are doing a great job on the perimeter runs. I mean, they just have not given up a big play. Outside of that pass to Harvin, that was the biggest play that Florida has gotten here in the first half.
Those tackles have been very stout in the middle, both 300-plus pounders.
Out, Florida. Second timeout of the half.
Gators will use their second timeout with 4:51 to go in the half. And we'll take a break. Back to Florida Field after this, a 14-0 game. Back at Florida Field, one of the big stories in college football this year. South Florida. Is this the new beast to the east? And the Florida Gators are seeing stories resonate around them like this as they find themselves in a 14-0 hole. Jim Leavitt, the head coach of the Bulls, will join us in a minute. Tebow, planned quarterback draw, and Tebow out to the 37-yard line. Let's bring in Jim Leavitt. And first, Coach, congratulations on a great win last night. That was the biggest win in your program's history.
Well, first of all, appreciate it. It was a big win for us, and you know, it's certainly in the Big East. That makes it pretty special.
Jim, you took this job 10 years ago. This team did not have any players, any facilities, anything. What were your friends telling you about your decision to be in on the ground floor of this program?
I've got to be out of my mind.
Sort of what I thought.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. You know, there's a talent around this area, and we play in a great stadium, and you know, it's had a great community, you know, Tampa Bay area. So you teams together, pretty good vision, and you know, anything's possible.
Jim, this is Todd Blackledge. You mentioned the talent in Florida and around you, and obviously you've got Miami and Florida State that recruit hard in their home state. What has your strategy been to recruit in that state, knowing that you may not be able to necessarily go head-to-head with those guys? How do you target the guys that you need for your program?
Well, opportunity to play, stay in your home state, be a part of history. Be a part of something that just has never been done before, and be part of a great story.
I got to ask you this, because I watched the game last night, and after the game, when they talked to you, you said, we're just going to go get ready for FAU. That's all we're focused on now. Please tell me you went out and enjoyed a little bit after the game last night.
Oh, goodness.
You didn't go watch film, did you?
It was satisfying. It really was, and it was a big win for us. But you know how it is. When you look at all the upsets that are happening right now, if you get ahead of yourself and you don't stay focused on one game at a time, you're going to be the next team that loses. And I just want to keep us playing good football and keep it focused on the next team, and let's just see what happens by the end of the year.
Jim, I know coaches just dread looking ahead, but we've got the remaining schedule of yours up here. You've got 2 top 10 opponents left on the schedule, both in conference. A lot of people are going to say right now you are the team to beat in the Big East. Do you think your kids are ready to accept that role?
Well, a lot of things are going to come out. There's a lot of distractions that's going to come your way, but it's going to be important for our staff, our players to not look ahead, not look at those kind of things. You got to come out and you got to play every time out. You're well aware of that. And you look at what's happening right now with Auburn and Florida. Auburn's got so much talent. We really had a battle to beat them, and they're off a good team. So we'll just still keep focused and try not to get ahead of ourselves.
Ingram makes that catch down to the 38-yard line to get a fresh set of downs.
Hey, Coach, I have one more question, because, we've talked a lot about Tim Tebow, and he obviously is a great young quarterback, but I'm really impressed with your young quarterback, Matt Grothe. Tell us a little bit of something about him. A lot of people maybe not know too much about Matt Grothe, but they're about to find out, I believe.
Well, Matt's so competitive, and he's so courageous, and he's got great feet and great release, and keeps eyes downfield and all those things. But he is just a fierce competitor, and he really has keeps our team moving, keeps moving the chains, and he's just love being around him. I love being around people like that.
That last catch by Moore, he was pounded by Powers, and there's a flag down on the play. Coach, thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you are trying to get ready for next week and maybe celebrating this week a little bit. Just a tremendous job in building the program from absolutely nothing to where you are right now.
Well, I appreciate you having me on.
Personal foul.
All right, Coach.
56 on the offense. Penalty 15 yards. Down at second.
Urban Meyer is going to be very upset with this penalty, because Florida finally is getting some juice, some momentum offensively. They're moving down the field. They're converting some third downs. And Marquise Ponce, a freshman lineman in there starting at right guard after the play, is going to come and just peel a guy off right in front of the official, right in front of the Auburn bench. And there's no way you can get away with that. And that's a momentum killer. It's silly, and it kills the momentum that Florida's offense had right here.
6'4", 311, a little tough to hide when you pull off one of those. So it's 2nd and 22 for Tebow back at midfield. Tebow throws underneath. And boy, Auburn is playing some sensational defense.
Well, they're not missing any tackles. I mean, that's the biggest thing you see. They're not missing tackles. And when you play Florida, you have to be able to play in space. They're going to spread you out by formation. They're going to try to find the matchups where you might be a little vulnerable. And they're going to try to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers. And if you miss tackles in space, short gains turn into big plays. And Florida, or Auburn, just has not allowed any of those catches to turn into big plays so far.
3rd and 17. Can they keep the drive going? Tebow wants a screen. Harvin. It'll be about 4th and 9. Here's Scott Van Pelt.
Mike, thanks very much. A minute away from the Pontiac Performance halftime report. Funny thing happened on the way to Blockbuster Saturday. We'll show you how OU went down in Boulder, how Texas got hooked at home, and how baseball's playoffs and pennant races will go down to the very last day of the season. Mark May, Lou Holtz settling in. We look forward to seeing you at halftime right here. For now, we get you back to Gainesville. Mike Patrick and Todd Blackburn.
All right, Scott, but your Terps won, so it's a good day. Good day in the studio.
Florida going for it here, 4th and 9.
Five-man rush. Tebow with time. Throws. That's going to be short of a first down. Ball comes loose, and Auburn will take over. It was going to be short of a first down anyway. The second effort by Louis Murphy as he turned around and tried to get it, and Patrick Lee came up and made sure he did not get to the sticks.
This was the first time I thought they didn't make a solid tackle, because I thought Louis Murphy on the second effort was going to get the first down. Watch the missed tackle, but Patrick Lee just rips the ball out. When he doesn't secure the tackle, he does the next best thing, rip the ball out, and Auburn gets the football.
Boy, and Louis Murphy found a way to get open. He just ran down and pulverized the defender.
Boy, oh boy.
That would have been huge for Florida. With 29 seconds, they'd have been at least in range to try a long field goal, if nothing else. But instead, Auburn takes over and has all the momentum in the world.
And you don't want to turn the football over, and that helps Auburn. But the penalty by Marquise Pouncey is what killed that drive. That 15-yard penalty took their momentum and made them go for it on 4th and 9 instead of getting any points on that last drive.
Some scattered boos greet the Florida Gators as they head for the locker room, and here's Holly Rowe.
Coach, how did you describe how penalties are affecting your team the first half?
Well, it's killing us. We've had a problem with that last week, and it's killing us right now. It's taking us out of, taking us off schedule on offense, and then that special teams penalty was awful.
How do you fix it, though?
How do you fix it? You teach them not to do that, and let's get to the second half.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Our halftime score, the Auburn Tigers 14, the 4th-ranked Florida Gators nothing. Let's join Scott Van Pelt for the Scott, thanks very much. We're at the Swamp in Gainesville, where the defending national champions have an 18-game winning streak in front of boisterous sellout crowds of more than 88,000 fans. Tonight, the Auburn Tigers bring a disappointing 2-2 record into Florida Field to face the undefeated and 4th-ranked Florida Gators. Welcome to College Football Primetime, brought to you by Hampton Hotels. It is a warm, humid night in north central Florida as the Gators seek revenge against Auburn, the only team to beat them a year ago. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick, Todd Blackledge. It's great. It has been a night for Auburn football. 192 total yards to 131 for the Florida Gators, who came into this game 11th in the country in total offense, and they have been throttled.
Well, they've been throttled because Auburn has done a great job of just allowing them to catch it underneath, making tackles in space, tackling the ball carriers. They've not allowed a single play of over 20 yards in the first half, and that is something that Florida has not been accustomed to so far this season.
Last time the Gators shut out at halftime, it hasn't been since '92. They came back to win that game, however. And Auburn taking the second half kickoff, and they got it out near the 35-yard line. We mentioned at the beginning of the ball game that Auburn convinced they should be 4-0 at this point. But Bill Parcells always says you are what your record says you are, 2-2. But they have not made the big mistakes tonight, and that's why they've got the lead.
They're on schedule right now, and they have a great chance to hang on and win this game, but they've got to stay on schedule. They got to continue to win turnovers, which they've done. They've got to win the special teams, which they've done so far. And they've got to, Brandon Cox has to stay hot. I mean, he may not, be as hot as he was that first half, but he's got to keep managing the game, making good decisions with the ball, run it just enough to keep that play action effective. And then their defense, the way they played in that first half, they've got to be feeling very, very good about how they match up with Tim Tebow and this Florida offense.
Yeah, they were sensational, but Auburn is backed up after a block in the back on the return. So the Gators will be in good shape as far as that is concerned.
Tony Joyner, number 19, is trying to get this crowd in it for his defense. He's the emotional, the heart and soul leader of this defense, trying to get the crowd behind the defense.
Tate will be the running back behind Brandon Cox, who was almost letter perfect in the first half. Tate, they string him out. He's taken down at the 7. Let's check in with Holly.
So, guys, I caught up with Auburn coach Tommy Tuberville running out of the tunnel. He was about as intense and fired up as I've ever seen him. I asked him about going for it on that 4th down play. He said, Holly, we didn't come down here to lose. We came down here to win. We're not going to mess around out here. Now, of course, there's 30 minutes left to play, guys, but they've won 12 of their last 13 SEC road games. It's got to be something to his fire.
And Holly, they've also won 12 straight games wearing all white. If you're looking for omens, there's one. Cox from the end zone, batted down. Brandon Spikes, number 51, the middle linebacker, came in and smacked it.
And I think what Florida is going to do in this second half, and they're showing it right now, is they feel like they're going to have to pressure Brandon Cox. They've got to disrupt his rhythm and his timing. Now, it's easier to do in this part of the field with the crowd as much of a factor as they appear to be right now, but they allowed him to get on rhythm and on course too easily in that first half. They've got to disrupt his timing.
Urban Meyer says for a young team, there is nothing worse than easy. This is not easy. Cox out of the shotgun, gives it to Tate. Out to the 9, gives him a little space to kick the ball away, and that's about it. And a standing ovation for the Gator defense. Momentum is such a huge part of college football. Florida gained some right there. Unbelievably, if they get the ball here on the punt, this would only be their 4th possession of the entire game. Shoemaker to kick to James. It's a great bounce after a low kick, but James had no chance to get up there and give it a return. 47-yard kick. They'll start from the 44.
Well, the first half, Auburn's defense was outstanding. I mean, they played great in space. They did not miss tackles. They didn't give up big plays in the running game or in the passing game. And their speed was the equal to Florida's speed on offense. But it was really their ability to tackle and not give up big plays that was the big key. Can they keep that up in the second half and maintain the edge that they had in that first half? That's the question now.
Todd, even with a 2-2 record, they were only giving up slightly over 300 yards a game, so their defense has been pretty good. Tebow, Harvin to the 3.
There's the big play. No big plays in the first half, over 20 yards. First play out of the box in the 3rd quarter. They go for 52. Play action. It's double coverage. There's a safety there to help the corner, and Percy Harvin runs right past the corner and the safety for the big play. And for Tim Tebow, that's his 8th pass of the season of 40 yards or better. They only had 2 all of last season.
First time Patrick Lee has been burned. First and goal. Tebow trying to do it himself. hit in the backfield and dumped back at the 6. What a play by Senderick Marks.
How
did he get in there so fast?
Quick off the ball, shot through a gap. Last year when Auburn played Florida, Tim Tebow was the quarterback who came off the bench, and he ran in for a touchdown in the first half. And he was kind of a novelty last year when these two teams played. Well, now he's a starting quarterback, and they know, especially in the red zone, the quarterback run is a real weapon in the red zone, and Auburn is clued into it right here.
Harvin goes into the slot as they have 4 wide receivers. Tebow throws for Ingram, no good.
Nice
Good defense by Wilhite.
Yeah, Wilhite is not nearly as big. 5'11" corner going against the bigger Cornelius Ingram, 6'4". Wilhite just got back last week from an injury. Sat out the Mississippi State game. Had 2 interceptions last week against New Mexico State. And he was in perfect position against a bigger receiver that time.
3rd and goal. Well, you get the feeling Gators need a touchdown, not a field goal down here, don't you?
Get that feeling. Harvin's in the slot.
Tebow looks away from him, under pressure again. Down he goes, throws before he hit the ground, and Quentin Groves had him. That is how strong Tebow is. One of the best sack masters in the country. Got him, had him in his grasp, and now there's a flag in the end zone.
Well, I don't know how you don't block Quentin Groves, though. That's a mistake by Florida. I mean, the best pass rusher is not even blocked.
No.
Quentin Groves is the most feared pass rusher on Auburn's team. He gets down a 3-point stance right here, and watch, nobody even blocks him. They got 5 linemen. They're rushing forward. Nobody even blocks him. You must block him. I mean, you might want to turn someone else loose. You don't want to turn him loose.
Well, what a gamble that was by Tebow to go ahead. I mean, I realize he's trying to make a play, but to go ahead and throw the ball in the end zone, that could have been easily picked off. And now Ehas will come in as they have to go for the field goal.
The last field goal attempt was blocked.
That was from 34.
Marks
got from that 24. And the Gators finally get on the board with 11:58 to go in the 3rd quarter. Not what they wanted, but the score was set up by a 52-yard bomb from Tebow to Harvin. Guess what's coming up? Todd's Taste of the Town. When we come back, we'll see what all the ballyhoo is about. ESPN's College Football Primetime, available on ESPN HD, presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. Mike Patrick, Tom Blackledge, Holly Rowe, glad you could join us on a beautiful Saturday night in September from Florida and Auburn, trying to spring an upset on number 4 Florida. Gators have just gotten on the board. Tristan Davis, he's number 9, track guy, the fastest man on the team, and he is back to return. He's been out with an injured toe the entire season. 5 yards deep, bobbles it, and he'll take a knee. Stop drooling. It's time for Todd's Taste of the Town.
In 1999, I was here to do a Gator game, and then Coach Steve Spurrier said, you've got to try this new restaurant called Ballyhoo's. Well, I tried it, loved it, and have been coming ever since to get my version of surf and turf. Steak quesadillas and a beautiful piece of fresh Florida grouper with a nice side order of black beans and rice.
See the size of that meal? This guy can eat. Boy, I'm telling you, my partner can put it away.
I enjoy myself. No question about that.
Well, a great service to that place, too.
Great place.
And we'll have a little more here in a second. Marker's down, and it looks like they're going to make him kick it again.
You mentioned Tristan Davis back coming off that toe injury. Tommy Tuberville was very excited to get him back involved because he brings an element of speed that he can be a difference maker, both as a kick returner and also he'll get a few plays possibly at the tailback position.
Yeah, they were hoping to get him maybe 10 carries tonight as one of 3 tailbacks, but we have not seen him in that spot. Now they'll move it all the way back to the 25-yard line for Ehas. And Davis should have a pretty good shot at this one, although Ehas crushed the last one. It's an early Gator chunk. Davis on the bounce. Out to the 30. Let's see how Todd finishes that meal off.
Wow, what another great meal. While no visit to Gainesville is complete without a stop at Ballyhoo's, no meal is properly topped off here without Bananas Foster prepared tableside.
Three ums and 3 laughs. That's pretty good.
3 ums. That's big time when you get 3 of them.
All right, here's what we've done so far. The cheeseburger steak, the sticky buns, barbecued ribs, wings and ribs, Bananas Foster. The main ingredients here are gravy, grease, sugar, and sauce from my health-conscious partner. But I tell you what, you know where to eat and how to eat, too. And Davis, with that sore toe, looks like he might be finished for the evening as they have to help him to the sideline.
Crowd back in it just like last possession for this Gator defense.
Cox has another one batted down. That was almost picked up by Joe Hayden, the corner.
It was a corner blitz, and Brandon Cox knew it was coming and tried to throw into the void that was left there by Joe Hayden, but Joe Hayden just timed his jump. He's coming on the blitz, and instead of coming to the quarterback, he goes ahead and jumps and almost comes down with an interception.
That would have been a game changer right there. Hayden, another young man, a freshman, third on the team in tackles, and a young secondary. Cox, quick look again. Hayden breaks that one up with Smith. Let's check in with Scott Van Pelt.
Mike, each week we honor the ESPN All-American of the Week. You can text your vote to 87654. Simply do that from your AT&T wireless phone to vote. It's easy, and in doing so, you'll qualify for a chance to go to the national championship game. Tell Todd if he comes here, by the way, I'll be happy to give him a taste of the cafeteria.
Todd, you up for that one?
Yeah, I'll go. That food up there is pretty good.
It's not bad.
Very good.
Cox on 3rd and 10. The crowd really going nuts now. And the defensive pressure is coming for the Gators. Ryan Stamper, the left linebacker, came through and got the sack.
The other thing crowd noise does it makes it tough to hear signals. It also makes it tough for those linemen to communicate on any kind of twist or stunt by the rushing linemen. Florida cranking it up a little bit here in the 3rd quarter.
Shoemaker, who is averaging over 47 yards a kick this year, to punt to James, who's telling everybody to get away, and a great bounce for the Auburn Tigers. That will carry all the way inside the 25-yard line. A boomer that goes for 54 yards. Tomorrow, the 3rd race in the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup with Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, and Tony Stewart leading the way. Time to separate the contenders from the pretenders. Catch all the championship drama at Kansas. Our coverage starts at 1 Eastern with a NASCAR countdown tomorrow on ABC. 5 drivers within 18 points. That's 18 points out of some 5,000 apiece. Jeff Gordon is the first in the standings. One of the highlights of watching racing is you'll get to see the great Dr. Jerry Punch, who just loves NASCAR.
Loves college football, too.
Yes, he does. Tebow threw that one up for grabs. and it's picked off. Patrick Lee fielded it like a punt. Tebow did not carry off much of a fake. It looked like he was trying to kneel down.
Well, the fake was okay, but what wasn't okay was a miscommunication between Riley Cooper, the wide receiver. He's going to come in. Tebow's going to throw the ball out. Watch. There's a miscommunication by quarterback and wide receiver. Play fake. Now, when the receiver comes in, Tebow launches it out to the sideline, and Riley Cooper's nowhere near the football. So obviously some mix-up. Riley Cooper's been battling an ankle injury, hasn't practiced as much, and a misfire between Tim Tebow and Riley Cooper.
Trying to go for the home run, and it costs them. Auburn has it back at the 34. Fannin in at tailback. Breaks one tackle and spun down at the 40. Ball comes out, but I think it was after the tackle. He was ripped by Tony Joyner, who was the leader of this club on defense.
I think Carl Stewart came up with the football. Fannin has had a problem fumbling. 3 fumbles on the season. He had 2 on consecutive carries in the game against South Florida, then fumbled again against Mississippi State. Part of the problem, and I think the ball did come out, but Carl Stewart, I think, recovered it, or it went out of bounds first. There you see a couple of Auburn Tigers here to cover the football.
Fannin again with a lead block. Big hole up the middle. And man, is he crushed. Carl Stewart threw him a great block, and Major Wright, number 21, another true freshman who just won a job at the free safety. Boy, did he turn the momentum around.
Well, there's Stewart's block on Spikes, a head-to-head Clinton. Then you see Major Wright, true freshman out of Miramar, Florida. St. Thomas Aquinas High School is just a guy that has beaten out a senior. Kyle Jackson was the senior. Major Wright just has played better and earned the start again tonight.
Boy, what a whack. Fannin's back in. A.J. Jones made a tackle. Go back to that last hit and watch the true freshman come up. He's number 21. Now you're talking about a guy, a running back with a full head of steam, and all at once, he's not going forward anymore. He's going straight backward.
Well, that's great form tackling, too. Head on the numbers, wrap the arms, drive the legs. The only bad news for Florida is it happened about 15 yards down the field.
Second and slightly over 10. Cox, another short set. Down the sideline. Is it inbounds? It is. At the Florida 31-yard line. Caught by Rodriguez Smith for 17 yards. The official said he had it. Let's look.
We only need 1 foot in bounds. Makes the catch. Does he get a foot in? Wow. It looks like he got that right foot in.
Boy, what great body control.
You know, and he's got black shoes and black tape, and there's a white sideline. It's pretty easy to see for the official there. Yeah, that's a good catch.
Well, what great control to find a way to get his foot in there. Here's Fannin again. And all at once, Auburn has taken the momentum right back from the Florida Gators.
Well, first their defense held Florida to a field goal. Then they get the ball and they start pounding it again. This young offensive line controlling the action up front like they did in the first half. Protection for Brandon Cox and running room for Mario Fannin and Ben Tate. Mostly Fannin on this drive.
You wonder how good this offensive line is going to be when they get some experience. Fannin again. Getting a little help on a push from behind this time to take it down to the 5-yard line. It will be first and goal. Lee Zimba couldn't get in front of him, so he got behind him.
Mario Fannin was an all-purpose quarterback in high school. He wasn't a running back in high school. He was a do-everything quarterback. And part of his fumble problems early in the season has been because he was used to carrying the ball looser as a quarterback. He's gotten better at it the last couple weeks, and he's running with some strength tonight.
First and goal, Tate. No chance. Buried in the backfield. They'll mark it back near the 9-yard line. Javier Estepinen was the first guy through there to make contact.
The other thing you have to remember about Auburn, not only the young offensive line, how good will they be? They get Tristan Davis back a little bit tonight. They get their best tailback, Brad Lester, back next week when they go to play Vanderbilt, because Brad Lester has been on a 6-game academic suspension. He was their second leading rusher last year and was expected to be the go-to guy this year.
Now the freshman quarterback Cody Burns is in, and Burns couldn't find anywhere to go. Here are the numbers Lester put up a year ago: 5 yards a carry. He'll come back next week. That will give them, if Tristan Davis is still ready to go, 4 experienced guys in that tailback spot. Clock running. We approach 7 minutes in the third quarter. 3rd and goal. They're all the way back to the 14-yard line. And Cox comes back in the game. 4-man rush. Cox flushed out of the pocket, throws underneath. Inside the 10. Stewart couldn't come up with it, tried to make the shoot top catch. And you would assume they will go for the field goal to make it a 2-score game again.
Brandon Cox did a nice job of getting away from pressure, moving outside the pocket, just nowhere to go with the football. Good coverage in the end zone by Florida to force the field goal attempt.
And sometimes you see in that situation the guy trying to do too much, as he had been doing in recent games. Try to go for the end zone. He didn't do it. He didn't make the big mistake. Bynum will try a 30-yard field goal. Would make it a 14-point game again. And he got it through just inside the left upright. So Brandon Cox and the Auburn Tigers have an answer to Florida, and Tim Tebow trying to figure out what happened on that interception.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world, and GE, Imagination at Work.
What a ball game this has been so far. Little nightlife on campus. Maybe dulled a little bit tonight. Down 17-3, the number 4 team in the nation. It's an 18-game home win streak. That's on the line right now. Brandon James can change the momentum of the game very quickly. And he retreats a yard deep in the end zone. He'll bring it out. James breaks the tackle, still on his feet. 35-yard line. What an effort. Take a look at our ESPNU All-State Standings review. Speaking of standing, who's left standing?
Yeah, I don't know if we had a name for this weekend, but it might be Bushwhack Saturday, because a whole lot of folks got upset. Oklahoma went down. Florida struggling here. West Virginia lost. Texas lost. Rutgers lost.
And USC's only up by 3. Yikes.
Wisconsin and Cal both with close wins.
6 of the top 13 have gone down so far. Florida is trailing. Tebow loses the snap, picks it up, and races forward to the 41. Here's Scott Van Pelt. Scott?
Mike, thanks very much. Just a look around the games on the family of networks, your primetime pulse over on ESPN2. Not sure what to make of those Minnesota jerseys, but Ohio State in control, winning, not overly impressive, but up by 16. Obviously, the game you're watching on ESPN, Auburn in control, up 14. USC on the road, only a 3-point lead. Washington hanging in. We'll be keeping our eyes and updating these as conditions warrant. Back to you in Gainesville.
All right, Scott. And they were talking about LSU looking ahead to its matchup with Florida next week. This afternoon when they played Tulane. This is Harvin and can't get away, taking down 2 yards shy of a first down. I don't think you could say that Florida is probably looking ahead, not against Auburn, but if they were, they picked a bad time to do it.
Yeah, I don't think they were either, because they did not play particularly well last week. Auburn beat them last year. It was the only team to beat them on their way to a national championship. So I really don't think they were looking past Auburn. And Auburn, again, we had documented one of the best road teams over the last 3 or 4 years in the SEC.
Tebow playing quarterback draw, trying to get to the 45. He did not make it for the first down.
I am very impressed with this Auburn defense tonight. Inside, the tackles hold their own. Pat Sims and Josh Thompson that time just closed that hole completely.
Yes, sir.
And then the speed on the outside, the play on third down, second down, tackling Percy Harvin. Tebow only 24 yards rushing on 9 carries. That's less than 3 yards a carry for him.
Too early for the Gators to go for it at midfield. Maybe. Now they go to the quick formation. They're going to snap it. They are going to go for it. They've got a first down, and Urban Meyer is one of the great trick play callers in college football, but there is a penalty marker down. Could have been motion. If so, it will come back. That's what you can do out of that spread kick formation. You can do all sorts of stuff.
Well, they were 4 for 4 on fake punts coming into this game. They lined up in punt. They shifted formation quickly, and now the people all have to be set for 2 seconds before the ball snapped.
And they weren't.
And they weren't.
It looked like one of the guys that was not set was the punter, Chris Henry. He went to the right side of the formation, and Henry barely got to the line of scrimmage and set before the ball was snapped. So now on 4th and 6, Henry will go back into a more conventional formation and gets off a beautiful kick. Fair catch made it to 20.
And, you know, I go back to Auburn needing to win special teams. That's a mistake for Florida in the special team.
Huge.
In Auburn's favor.
Would have been a new set of downs in Auburn territory. This was before the game. The great Wilbur Marshall being inducted into the Florida Ring of Fame. A very private person who was overcome with emotion as he received this honor before the game started. Went on to great success with the Chicago Bears and that great 46 defense they had.
Yeah, he was a great player.
Auburn takes over at the 20. Tate straight up the middle. Gaping hole. Tate fumbles. That's the break the Gators needed. It was a 19-yard gain until Major Wright shook it loose. His second enormous hit, and Tony Joyner fell on it.
It was the same kind of thing. It started with Carl Stewart getting a great block on the middle linebacker, Brandon Spikes, a big run by Tate, and then a big hit on the back end by Major Wright. There it is, right helmet on the football after a long gain. Scramble for it, and the Gators come up with it.
Mistakes have killed the Auburn Tigers. As we told you at the beginning, they felt they should be 4-0, but turnovers have buried them.
Well, they had 5 against South Florida and 5 more against Mississippi State. That was their first tonight.
What can Tebow do with the opportunity from the 38? Under pressure, throws underneath. They'll get 9 on the completion to Cornelius Ingram.
I think they got to find, Florida needs to find the best matchup for them. They haven't been able to find the most advantageous matchup. It might be Cornelius Ingram and his big body working on crossing routes, drag routes across the middle. Harvin, they hit on the one big play. Bubba Caldwell started in the game but has not been a factor.
2nd and 1, 5 wideouts. Tebow, chance to take off. got the first down and more inside the 20, inside the 15. Rose would make the tackle.
Well, if you're going to go after Tim Tebow, you better go low. Don't try to tackle him high. And the first defender tries to get him high, gets stiff-armed, and Tim Tebow adds about 10 more yards to the run. You better go for his ankles and take his legs out if you want to make a tackle in the open field.
He's fast enough, but he is so big that you better form tackle him correctly.
And he is not going to shy away from any kind of contact. I mean, he is going to put his shoulder down and try to run through you.
Stepped out of bounds at the 19. First down. Gators down by 2 touchdowns. Tebow short set, can't find anybody. Here comes the pressure. Throws underneath to his halfback Moore, and Moore will get maybe 2. Powers made the tackle, the corner.
Well, can Florida capitalize on the turnover from their defense? That's the question now for them. They get the gift from their defense. They've got the field position. They've been the best team in the SEC when they get in the red zone. 26 opportunities, 21 touchdowns coming into the game tonight. They need a touchdown here.
That's a remarkable number as well. Tebow, after the play fake, will keep it. And again, the center of that Auburn defense has been stout all night long, Todd.
There's been no inside running room for Florida. And the most experienced of the Florida offensive linemen are their center and left guard. Jim Tart, the guard, Drew Miller, the center. That's their most experienced guys up front. But they have not been able to get much of a push on the inside tackles of Auburn.
Blanc and Evans combined on that last stop. 8 of his 11 runs tonight have been less than 3 yards for Tim Tebow. Pressure coming. Tebow throws over the middle. That will be a first down and goal at the 5. Good throw by Tebow, and the little guy, Percy Harvin, found himself open at the 5. If you have joined us late, Auburn has led from the get-go, trying to knock off number 4 Florida on a weekend where they have just fallen like raindrops. But the Gators fighting their way back here in the closing moments of the third quarter. First and goal. Tebow stood him up and knocked him down as he reached the 4, gain of a yard.
Percy Harvin made that big catch to get the first down. You know, he had 11 catches last week against Ole Miss, and 7 of the 13 first downs they got throwing the football went to Percy Harvin. And tonight, 5 catches for 93 yards. And he is, especially with Caldwell not 100%, he is the most dynamic player they have. The most, outside of Tim Tebow, it's Percy Harvin. Now, when Caldwell's healthy, it's Harvin, Caldwell, and Tebow.
5 wideouts and an empty backfield for Tebow. Here comes Moore back with him, and then he goes out in the flat. Tebow throws too hard and too low for Harvin, or excuse me, for Ingram. A flag comes in late, and it was Gerard Powers with the coverage.
Now, this one looks a little iffy. I mean, it's a big receiver Gerard Powers is going against.
The ball was placed at the 2-yard line. First and goal.
I'm not sure if this ball could have been caught by Ingram. It was low and hard. Here goes Ingram into the end zone. Tough call against Gerard Powers.
There was contact early. I don't know if there was a human being on earth that could have caught that ball. That thing had some starch on it. First and goal at the 2. New set of downs. Tebow to try it again. Got ever so close and then pushed back inside the 1. Urban Meyer checking the clock. Will they get off another play, or are they just going to let it run down?
Trey Blackman in on that tackle. He's a guy that is a difference maker for them defensively. Number 10, Hasn't been able to play the whole game, just back from an ankle injury that he injured in the South Florida game. But when he's in the game, he makes a difference. Didn't get in again.
It's blow it dead inside the 1.
It's up front. It's those tackles are holding their ground. They're not getting them pushed out of there.
No, that Florida line hadn't been able to move those guys.
They haven't. I'm sure Tim Tebow's saying, what's going on here? I've never been stopped when I need 1 yard before.
That's the end of the third quarter. The Gators knocking on the door, and they need to get in with 1 quarter to go. Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Inns. Florida Gators, 3rd and goal inside the 1.
They've got 2 big fullbacks in there. In fact, one of them on his left of Tebow is a linebacker, and he moved early.
He sure did. And he had some company. Looked like 2 guys on the line moved, as well as the linebacker, Jamal Devereaux. So instead of 3rd and goal from 2 feet away, they'll back him up 5 yards. That's huge.
Urban Meyer talked about the penalties last week. 14 for 127 yards.
False start. 63 on offense. Penalty 5 yards. Down remains 3rd.
And that was 63. Jim Tart, one of their leaders up front, who moved early.
And it's not just the yards of the penalties. Penalties last week cost them big plays.
And they're mental mistakes. This is at home. You shouldn't have a false start. That's unacceptable on the 1 yard line to have a false start by one of your leaders on the offensive line. Can't happen.
3rd and goal, huge play here. The spread is 2 touchdowns. Tebow under pressure, throws for the end zone, touchdown Ingram. Cornelius Ingram, open and drilled by Tebow.
Auburn took a chance to come after Tim Tebow and play straight man, thinking that they could get to Tebow before he could make the throw. The gamble did not work.
And they were playing without Quentin Groves, their best pass rusher, who had to be assisted off the field after the last part of the goal line stand. There's Quentin. Looked like he had some kind of a right leg injury, either an ankle or a knee. And now he's up. Now they got him a set of crutches.
Here's Cornelius. He's just going to run an out route into the end zone. Single coverage, working against number 4, Zach Etheridge. They don't get to Tebow in time. He has a throwing lane, and he delivers a strike for the touchdown. It was a shotgun, so he's off the line. He moved a little bit towards the throw and gets it away before the pressure could get to it.
And Holly has an update on Quentin Groves. Holly?
Guys, it doesn't look good right now. He was in so much pain, they couldn't even unlace his shoe on his right foot. They had to cut it off. It is a right foot injury. They're taking him into the locker room immediately. Every time they would touch one of his outer toes on the top of his right foot, he would just freak out, guys. He is in a lot of pain. It does not look good right now for Quentin Groves.
Well, he's the leader on that defensive line, their best pass rusher, only 1 sack away from the school record.
Well, we looked on that play. I mean, he slanted down and got knocked into the pile on the run by Tebow. We couldn't see exactly what happened, but there were a lot of bodies in there falling around him. And that would be a huge loss for the Auburn defense.
14:56 to go in the ball game. And the Gators back within a touchdown on a weekend when so many teams in the top 20 have fallen. And Patrick Lee will be the deep man for Auburn. Ehas was a tremendous kicking leg as it teed up at the 30. Tristan Davis, we understand, has a foot injury. Don't know if it's the same one he had before where they had to put a pin in his toe. Lee. Nice cutback, hard run over the 30 to the 33-yard line. Monday, two of the top offensive units in the AFC go against each other as the Patriots take on the disappointing Bengals. Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern. Coverage begins at 7 with Monday Night Countdown. Bengals were looking forward to a big year. They've had on-the-field troubles and off-the-field troubles.
And former Auburn Tiger Rudy Johnson is a little questionable for that game Monday as well.
Fannin got maybe a yard, and that's it. Here's Scott Van Pelt.
Mike, thanks. A quick 30 at 30 update. Some of the other things going on in the world of sports. They played 161 games in the National League East, and they've decided nothing. The Mets win. The Phillies lose, which means that they head into the final day all tied up in the National League East. There are about a zillion playoff scenarios just to make the playoffs. We'll sort those out later. And Kevin Eberhardt, he's kicked 2 game-winning field goals this year, one to knock off Colorado State, and that one right there beats Oklahoma at the gun, starting a day of upsets. Back to you in Gainesville.
Scott, it has been an amazing day. Here is Smith with another big catch on a perfect throw from Brandon Cox. And Smith shaken.
Florida lined up and looked like they used to look all the time last year. A lot of guys around the line of scrimmage, press man-to-man coverage by the corners and a deep free safety in the middle. And Brandon Cox, again, able to throw on timing, the accurate throw to Rod Smith. I think he just landed on the football.
He did.
You know, when he got hit at the end of the play. Yeah.
And that football, there's not a whole lot of give in that. But he'll be all right. Let's go back to Holly.
Well, guys, Rodriguez Smith is an amazing story. He was not recruited by anybody, really. He had just 2 Division I-A offers. But his best friend from high school, James Swinton, got a scholarship at Auburn, so he decided to join him and walk on. He had 30 catches last year. He was so good, their leading receiver. He just got a scholarship this June, and again, is a key receiver for them, guys. He's even starting in front of James Swinton now.
And Holly, he came into this game averaging 23 yards a catch. He's been huge tonight with 6 grabs. Fannin. And the Gators getting more aggressive on defense, Todd, as you mentioned, and that's made a big difference for them.
Well, they've done a little bit better job here against the run, the last possession or so, and a little bit more pressure. I think their idea was, you know, the first half, we played a little too soft. We were giving too much room. We were letting Brandon Cox get in rhythm. And we've got to attack a little bit more. We got to come after him, and we got to get more guys around the line of scrimmage. If we have to play man, then we have to play more man.
Charlie Strong can coach defense, can't he?
Yes, he can.
Cox another short set. Smith back in the ball game. Dives across midfield. He'd be about 3 yards shy of a first down.
See, that's just such a smart play right there. Good call by Al Bohr. Just a short slant. Probably not going to get the first down. You know that. But you get 8 or 9 on second down. Now you have a manageable third down play. You don't take a shot at a big play on 2nd and 15. You go ahead and take a short throw. Give yourself a chance on third down.
And taking a shot at the big plays is what had gotten him in trouble in previous games.
That's right.
Big third down here for momentum. Cox. Smith again. Cracked out of bounds at the 44, but he's got the first down.
And there it is. See, because you get 8 or 9 on second down, now you can throw quick and throw a short route on third down and pick up the first down and move the chains. Coming into tonight's game, Auburn was last in the SEC in third down. Brandon Cox was 11 for 34 throwing the football on third down before tonight's game. And it's been a big turnaround. Their effectiveness on third down tonight has been a real turnaround from their first 4 ball games.
Smith with 8 catches for 92 yards. He took another blast there and gets a breather. Cox wants to change the play as he saw a blitz coming.
We've only got 3 seconds left on the clock.
Got the snap. Fannin trying to get outside. Good tackle by Cunningham. Here's Scott again.
Your lazy boy update, which seems entirely apropos, since many of you are probably splayed out all day, been watching football. You saw John David Booty hit Big Fred Davis, who plows it down, and then Coach Carroll plays spin the wheel, and which back gets to carry it? Hey, Chauncey Washington, it's your lucky day. You get to carry it into the end zone. USC stretching it out in Seattle. They lead by 10.
Auburn has reached the Gator 45-yard line. Cox wants a screen, gets a lot of pressure, throws it away. He got outside the tackle box.
Well, and he threw it at the feet of the wide receiver, which you tell a quarterback to do. If you're running a screen and it's not there, throw it at his feet.
Crowd doesn't like it, but it appeared to be the right call.
And I think because the ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage, as you do on a screen, the lineman downfield is not a penalty either.
So 3rd and 11. The clock stops at the 11:37 mark. The crowd's really been into it in the second half, and they're up in press coverage in the secondary again. Cox under pressure, throws incomplete. That time he was trying to get it to Montez Billings.
And again, a more aggressive approach by Charlie Strong and Greg Madison. They brought an extra rusher that time. One unblocked guy, and that forced Brandon Cox to have to get rid of the football a little bit sooner than he wanted to. A.J. Jones, number 16, was the guy in this face, forced the quick throw, and now ultimately forces Auburn to punt the football.
James says let it go.
There is a flag down.
A little pushing and shoving after the play. Flag back around midfield after a punt of 36 yards. They mark it out of bounds at the 9. And let's see what the call is.
I think you make him kick it again rather than take the ball in the 9. See if you can get a little better return, better field position. Maybe he kicks it into the end zone. You start on the 20.
And James is a danger to take it the length of the field anytime.
Not enough men on the line of scrimmage on the kicking team. The penalty will be enforced on the kick. So therefore it'll be 4th down, 5 yards further back.
In the Tennessee game, the first punt of that game, he went 83 yards for a touchdown to start the scoring in what ended up being a 59-20 Gator victory here in Gainesville.
That's why he's number 1 in the SEC in punt return. Beautiful kick. Signals fair catch and makes it at the 11, so they pick up a couple of yards on the penalty. But with 11:08 to go in the game, they're a long, long way away from tying this one up.
IBM presents the 25 greatest players ever. Number 22, George Gipp. Long considered the best player ever coached by Newt Rockne, the Gipper held Notre Dame's career rushing record for more than 50 years. And as a defensive player, he never had a pass completed against him. IBM, getting it done.
George Gipp, the man of legend at Notre Dame. He's number 22. We will unveil one player every Saturday until we get to January 1st and unveil the top 2 players in the history of college football.
Florida took a timeout from the sideline. That was not called by Tim Tebow. It was called by Urban Meyer in the Florida sideline.
First of their 3. And this is the list so far of the 25 greatest players. Johnny Rodgers unveiled earlier today. Paul Griego, our buddy from Omaha, Nebraska, was Johnny Rodgers' high school quarterback before he went to Nebraska. And George Gipp, one of the great players in the annals of the most famous college football program in the country. He was their first All-American. Had a record of 23-2-2 when he was at Notre Dame. Held the Irish record forever until 1978 and was the stuff of legend in the movies. Holly, why did we have that timeout?
Well, guys, Riley Cooper, the wide receiver, just stalked off after kind of getting chewed out after that timeout. They've had some problems with their wide receiver personnel grouping. They called 2 timeouts in the first half to straighten it out. Another one there. They were worried it would be probably before the game, and guys, it has been.
All right, Holly, thanks. Here's Tebow. Quarterback draw, and you might see a lot of this now. It might just be Tim Tebow saying, it's on my shoulders, guys, let's go get them.
Well, that's what he did last week.
Yep.
When they needed to win the football game. Now, they had a lead that evaporated last week in Oxford, and it was down to 3 points at one point. And Tim Tebow was very vocal, very animated on the sideline to Urban Meyer and the coach is saying, let me run the football, let us win the football game. I'll win it. Well, he's probably got those same feelings right now. He wants the ball in his hands.
48 yards rushing. Very un-Tebow-like. He's got to credit that Auburn defense. Harvin taken down at the 24. That is a solid tackle by Gerard Powers, who takes down Harvin by the ankles. You mentioned earlier they've made great tackles in the open field.
They've been clued into Percy Harvin. I mean, they have done a nice job of getting white helmets to the football and wrapping him up and just not letting him, with the exception of 2 pass plays, really break loose and hurt them.
Harvin and Tebow, what a pair of sophomores. Tebow in the shotgun, wants a screen. Gets it out to James. James to the 32.
You were talking about Auburn and tackling. We've talked about that all night, and we asked Will Muschamp about that. How do you tackle well in games like this when you don't work on tackling too much live in practice? You don't want to get guys hurt. And what they do, like most teams, is they use a thud tempo, which means they're going to go full speed. They're just not going to take guys to the ground. Because he says that what you don't want to do against a guy like Percy Harvin or these Florida receivers is break down, slow down while they're still going full speed. So go full speed, keep your feet with you, and make good solid contact. And they're doing that tonight.
2nd and 3. Tebow, quarterback draw. First down. There is some determination on the face of this Florida quarterback right now. This is his time to shine.
Well, Urban Meyer, when we asked him, describe Tim Tebow for us. I mean, what stands out to you about him? And he thought about it for a second, and he said, he's the ultimate warrior. I've never been around anybody like him. He is the ultimate warrior, and he refuses to lose at anything. And for a guy that young to have that kind of presence on this team is, to me, what makes him remarkable.
And this is throwback stuff right here. This is the old single wing. Tebow throws out into the flat. That should be another first down. Lewis Murphy made that catch, and it will be out of bounds short.
The thing about Tebow, again, is he's a sophomore. But ever since he first stepped foot on this campus, he's been looked at as a leader of this football team. He wasn't the starting quarterback last year. Chris Leak was. But Tim Tebow played an integral role and was a leader on that championship team last year as a true freshman. And this year, he is hands down, unquestionably, the leader of the football team.
2nd and 1.5 yards. Tebow. Well, this is going out in the backyard, choosing up sides. Tebow is the first guy that's picked. Let's go get him.
He carried the ball 27 times last week. This is just, you're right, single wing football. You got to lead back in there. You have to account for the quarterback, and it's just power football. He's running like a fullback. He's not running like a quarterback. He's running like a fullback out of the shotgun formation.
That's because he's 235 pounds. We've got a player down. We'll check on that when we come back to Gainesville.
The chase for the NASCAR.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by Volkswagen. When you get into a Volkswagen, it gets into you.
Welcome back to Florida Field. The Gators 6th in the country in scoring, averaging better than 49 points a game. They are outscoring opponents 56-7 in the fourth quarter this year. And they could sure use some more of that magic right now. Tebow fakes, goes deep. Harvin. Wow! Caught it. What a catch! And during the timeout, Todd Blackledge said, you know what would be good to do right now? Fake a run and throw the bomb.
Well, everybody wants to hit the quarterback right now because everybody expects him to run. So they go play action. They were coming out of the timeout. They got Percy Harvin out, isolated on the outside, and that's just a great football player making a tremendous play against good coverage. I mean, you can't fault Patrick Lee for where he was. That's just Percy Harvin being a spectacular player.
They go on a quick count, get down short of the 1-yard line. It will be 2nd and goal, and there comes Quentin Groves, and that's one of the reasons they have been able to run so well in the last couple of possessions, is because that guy hasn't been in the lineup. Tebow gets the play from the sideline. They've got that jumbo package in there again with 2 big blockers, including a linebacker in front of him. This is usually nothing fancy, just smash mouth. And Tebow takes off straight ahead. Touchdown. So the Gators fell behind 17-3. They're within an extra point of tying the game.
They took both of the lead backs and put them in the hole together right in front of Tim Tebow. And he just got right in behind him and ran it in for the touchdown. Couple tough runs, a big-time throw, and Florida about to draw even.
Tebow wasn't bad on that drive. 48 yards passing, 35 yards rushing, and the touchdown.
Well, they're going to go right through here and right through here, and Tim's going to follow right in there through the wedge, right behind him. Snap it to him, get in on the hip pocket, and split them right through for the touchdown. And then you see the passion and the energy and that desire to win that Tim Tebow brings to this football team.
And he went right over to the defense and said, all right, you guys, it's your turn. You stop and give us the ball back. We'll win this game.
His roommate is Tony Joyner, who is the captain of the defense, the heart and soul of the defense.
It's an upset weekend in college football. Auburn trying to pull one off here at Florida Field against the 4th-ranked Gators. And there is Tebow talking to anybody within earshot about how the Gators are going to come back. Now he wants the crowd into it, too. This kid is special. There are so many really good, on the verge of being great, multi-purpose quarterbacks in college football now. It's an exciting time to watch.
Well, what does Brandon Cox have in his tank? I mean, this is a situation for him as a senior, a guy who has started over 25 games in his career. A chance for him now to lead his team to a big win here, if he can.
Patrick Lee from the 8. Taken down at the 20. Beautiful tackle from Justin Williams. Here's Holly.
Guys, you can just feel the leadership of Tim Tebow out here, and it's not surprising. Urban Meyer told us a story about last year, their winter conditioning program. Tebow had only been on campus for a few weeks. They were doing a tug-of-war contest, offense against defense. The offense could pick one guy. Who did they pick out of everybody? The freshman who's only been with them a few days, Tim Tebow. They believed him in then, and they believe in him now.
It is remarkable how quickly he became a leader in this program. Fannin trying to get outside. Broke a tackle, but only got 2 yards. And Fannin a little slow to get up. 7 minutes, 15 seconds to go. Auburn has totally lost the momentum in this game. And you get the feeling they are just in desperate need of a couple of first downs. Stewart, the fullback for Fannin.
Press coverage look by Florida. More aggressive here in this second half. Right up on the receivers.
Fake the end around. Cox to Stewart, who was wide open.
Second time they've gotten the fullback out of the backfield. This time, the fake of the reverse bought him a little more time because they played the reverse and not the pass. Watch the fake of the reverse by Brandon Cox a little bit more time. And then he finds the fullback floating out of the backfield. Again, a true freshman free safety, Major Wright, got fooled by the action in the backfield.
How's that for a play call?
Well, you said it. They need a couple first downs, and they weren't going to probably get them the conventional way. Between the crowd and the new energy of the Florida team, they had to get something a little different way.
Outside of that play, Joe Hayden appears to be the injured Gator number 12. If they're in press coverage and they're playing more aggressively, how do you adjust as an offense to take advantage of that?
Well, you got to protect your quarterback, first of all, if they're bringing more pressure. And then wide receivers have to get separation. If you're getting press coverage, now you have to change. And it's not running timing routes as much as it is being more physical, getting off the ball, getting separation, giving your quarterback a chance.
Fannin. Nowhere to go. Broke a tackle.
Yeah, he's lucky.
What an effort. Yeah. Yes, he was.
He's lucky because you can't dance against a good defense. And the more he was bouncing and dancing, the worse this play was getting. And fortunately for him and for the Auburn offense, he was able to get back to the line of scrimmage. But this almost was about a 2nd and 16, 2nd and 17, which would have been disastrous.
He was looking at a team picture of the Florida defense. Everybody had a crack at it. Cox in trouble. He won't get away.
Derek Harvey again. He's been relatively quiet tonight since earlier in the ball game. Got free that time.
Clock running, 5.5 minutes and counting. Well, they've made some big third downs tonight, but this is huge. 3rd and 14. Blitz coming. Cox almost had it picked. Threw it off his back foot. A.J. Jones nearly made the pick.
Well, this was such a dangerous play by Brandon Cox. Rolling to his right, a left-handed quarterback tries to throw it back across the middle. And he is very fortunate this isn't picked off. That is a no-no for any quarterback. Freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior.
May have been more than 2 no's. That might be a no.
The only guy who gets away with that is Brett Favre on occasion.
Brandon Jones, or James, excuse me, is deep. Flag is down. They're going to say they interfered with his right to make a make the catch.
Well, my only question on this, and you know, maybe I don't completely understand the rule, but if the penalty is interference to make a catch and he makes a clean catch, how did you interfere with that?
Then how do you penalize him? That's a good point.
Kick catching interference, number 33 on the kicking team, 15 yards from the spot of the foul, first down.
I believe Tommy Tuberville is raising the same point, and he is really hot. He's saying he caught it. How can you throw a flag? That's not a good penalty.
I don't think so either.
As we were going to break, this is Tommy Tuberville, who is angry beyond words at the call against his team on that interference to catch a punt. The replay seemed to show that it was not interference, especially since it's self-evident that the ball was caught. And then they hit Tuberville with a 15-yard penalty for his protest, so the Gators have it up at the 42-yard line. They throw to Harvin on a comeback screen, and Harvin grabbed apparently by the shoulder pads, spun around and taken down.
A big-time play by the Auburn defense. Tommy Tuberville still hot. His defense trying to feed off of that right now. That's a big play on first down against an offense that has some momentum. You get him behind the chains right away on first down.
Tuberville has been tremendous with Auburn against top 10 teams. Tebow now facing a 2nd and long. And looked like he was changing the play. Little option look, and boy, they strung that play out beautifully. Moore knocked out of bounds at the line of scrimmage. Here's Scott Van Pelt.
Mike, thank you very much. USC, well, they're up 7, and John David Booty has this one batted down by Eric Lobos. Washington got the ball back. It was close to midfield, but they couldn't do anything with it, so they have now punted back. USC's got the ball on their own 15. That's over on ABC. We'll see if UW can get the ball back and get in this game a little bit closer. Get you back to a tie ball game in the Swamp.
Very interesting. Everybody just trying to survive this weekend. 3rd and 16 for the Gators. Auburn coming with a 3-man rush and gets pressure anyway. Wow. Nearly intercepted a diving try by Gerard Powers. Almost made the pick, and the pressure came from tackle Pat Sims. What a stand by Auburn.
Great pressure, forced Tebow to leave the pocket, forced him to throw off balance, throw early, and nearly picked off. That was an excellent defensive stand by Auburn.
Boy, you're a defensive tackle who's been pounded on the entire game, 315 pounds, and you suck it up and make a play like that in the 4th quarter.
He's played well all night. He and Josh Thompson in there, Mike Blank, Jake Ricks, Shank.
Henry to punt to Dunn, not a good kick. And it will go out of bounds to the 38-yard line. You're absolutely right. We told you 6 out of the top 13 have lost. USC, of course, now up by a touchdown. Oklahoma lost to Colorado. Florida now tied with Auburn. West Virginia lost last night. Texas lost to Kansas State. Rutgers lost to Maryland.
How far was that punt?
Was that punt about 30 yards? 28? 25.
What a bad punt at a critical time in the football game.
Horrible time to have a bad punt. Tate trying to get outside, turns the corner for a yard and spun out of bounds hard by Spikes.
I mean,
they have tried to go wide. They can't do it anymore.
Well, I don't think Ben Tate can do it on this defense anyway. Fannin has shown a little bit of an ability to get there, but at this point, I think it's kind of a waste of energy.
And Davis is not an option. He apparently was hurt earlier in the game after one play. There's Fannin, who has played. Brad Lester won't be back until next week. Cox shorts it to Smith. And Smith has a first down at midfield. Boy, has he turned in a big game.
Well, they've hit this slant quite a bit. And when Florida shows 2 deep safeties, this is what they go to. 9 catches for 122 yards for Smith. They show the 2 safeties, so this is what they work. Quick throw right there in the slant, in between the corner and the safety. Brandon Cox, quick set, slip it right in there between the linebacker, the corner, and the safety, and Smith gets the first down.
You saw Wes Byram heating up the leg. Got great distance, and Auburn will use a timeout, only their first. With 3 minutes and 8 seconds to go. They need about another 17 yards to give him a shot. And this is another great year for SEC football. The Gators, number 4, trying to survive unranked Auburn.
How about the last 3 SEC games we've had?
Not bad. Tate, couple of yards. Belted, gang tackled.
Ben Tate needs to be careful. I mean, you want to get as much as you can get, but you better make sure you protect that football, because if you get stood up by one defender, you better expect that some other guys are coming to rip at that football. So get what you can get, but not at the expense of being careless with the football, because right now you don't want to do anything to take a chance of losing that ball.
Byram has a 49-yarder to his credit.
Florida's taking another timeout. They've got some confusion on their personnel as well.
That will be their second. Last 3 meetings all decided on the last play of the game here at Florida Field. Damon Duval, 44-yard field goal. 2002 in overtime, Jason Campbell, now with the Redskins, comes up short. 2006, trailing by 4. Leak to Dallas Baker. Trick play on the lateral to Faison. Patrick Lee picks it up and takes it back for the score that clinched it.
I thought it was interesting, too. Pat Dooley, who writes for the Gainesville paper, wrote an interesting article in the paper today saying, you know, any of you Florida fans that were thinking that you may not come to the game tonight, this may not be as exciting, next week's the big game, you don't remember how good Florida and Auburn is as a series. And these teams, when they play, expect a good ball game. Well, we got that good ball game tonight.
In spades. 2nd and 9 for Cox. Pressure coming. Cox throws underneath, complete.
There's a good open field tackle by Major Wright. That was a corner blitz. A corner blitz. Brandon Cox read it, threw it to the void, and if Major Wright misses this tackle, they get another first down. Here's the blitz. Read it, throw it, and right there you just count on one missed tackle, but Major Wright's not letting go.
And now that true freshman got the job away from the senior.
That's right.
Play the game right here. 3rd and 3 with the clock running. Under 2 minutes to go in a tie game. They need another first down to have a shot at field goal range. And they'll give it to Tate. Cut back. Tate still on his feet and dives for a first down. What an effort.
Yep. I think they kind of fooled him up with the run. I think Florida was thinking pass. They had more of a nickel defense in. They came up the field. Derek Harvey came up in a pass rush, and they knocked him right out of the play. And Tate was able to cut up inside. Excellent block. I think it was Ryan Pugh, number 50, who got a big block on Derek Harvey, kicked him out, and that enabled Ben Tate to cut up for the first down.
I mean, he's not that big a guy, 5'11", 201, but that was a tough and a smart run. Now the clock running 1:24. And Auburn has things in control. Tate again. Cut back down to the 30, to the 29. Nice block by Carl Stewart, the fullback, who has had several tonight.
You're not kidding. He's had a whale of a ball game. 2 big catches out of the backfield. A lot of big-time blocks. Here he goes, 32 leading the way. And Tate cuts right inside of his block.
53 seconds to go in the game. Florida only has 1 timeout.
Auburn with 2 timeouts.
Tate again has to hold on to the football. Didn't get a good spot on the previous run. They marked him down at the 30. It appeared he'd made the 29. This one is to the 29. The clock's still running.
Tommy Tuberville just called for a timeout. He wants a timeout here. He wants to use one of his 2. Talk over what they want to do.
Well, from here, it would be a 46, 47-yard field goal try. Byram certainly has the leg for it. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, I've been standing over here by Wes Byram just to gauge his mood and his feelings right now. He's a true freshman. He just glanced back up at the scoreboard, looked at the time and the scoreboard, and then he shook his head as if to say to himself, I got this. We'll see if he's right. We'll see if he's right.
Well, think about it now. A true freshman. He's replacing the all-time leading scorer in Auburn history in John Vaughn. And he has a chance it looks like he's going to have a chance to beat the Florida Gators here in the Swamp.
They had 3 terrific kickers, all of whom graduated. And now they've got 3 kickers who are either freshmen or redshirt freshmen. Byram with a long of 49 has a 47 and a 48-yard miss. And all Urban Meyer can do right now is hope. Tate very close to a first down.
I tell you what, this Auburn offensive line, we've talked about them tonight. 3 true freshmen starting for the 2nd week in a row. Last week they were kind of running around not sure who to block. They've known who to block tonight.
Haven't they ever?
They have known who to block, and they have done it well.
They will bring the chains in. You see the ball sitting on top of that yellow line, the computer-generated guide that we have come to rely on so much.
By a chain link.
Boy, no kidding. Now there's 21 seconds left. Auburn has 1 timeout. You try to get a little bit more here. Do you take the risk?
I think maybe you bring it a run to the left and get the ball right in the middle of the field and then call that last timeout with about 4 seconds left and try to win it on the last play of the game.
Last thing they said before they break the huddle, hold on to the ball. And Tate put it right in the middle of the field.
Now you let the clock go down to about 4 and then call the timeout with 4 seconds. Or 3.
4 upsets so far in the top 10, 6 of the top 13. This would add to it. And you would have 3, 4, and 5, and 7 all losing on the same night or on the same weekend.
And so
3 seconds, they call the timeout.
And you think, big picture college football again, who stands to benefit the most? Well, one team is Ohio State. They have a chance to shoot skyward with the events of today. Of course, USC trying to hold on. LSU not overly impressive early in the game against Tulane, but held on.
And if you're LSU, you hate to see a game that is set up this monumentally to have the team you're going to play lose the week before, because then they have something to get even with against you. Byram will have a chance to win it from 43 yards. If not, we go to overtime.
Does Florida use their last timeout right before the kick here to ice the kicker? I think they're going to right now. Urban Meyer's right by the official. Nope. Yep, they did. Urban Meyer waited right before the ball was snapped and called timeout. This is not going to count. Urban Meyer called a timeout before the kick. He did it perfectly. And Tommy Tuberville's going to find out right now that they got to kick it over.
Byram put it through from 43 yards. Timing is everything, isn't it?
Urban Meyer was right in the official's ear, and he was waiting until right before the ball snapped to call timeout. Brett Bielema,
now.
Yeah, Brett Bielema of Wisconsin was the guy who did that last year and kind of showed people how to do it. And Urban Meyer waited till the exact last moment and called the timeout. Now you have the energy of Auburn kicking it, thinking they won the game.
Exactly right.
Now they've got to line up and do it again.
Coaching is a copycat profession. You see somebody do something that works, well, by golly, you're going to do it next because of that very reason. It worked. And Urban Meyer just took a lot of the starch out of Auburn. They kicked the winning field goal, and it doesn't count. Now they've got to do it again.
Mike Shanahan did it 2 weeks ago in their game against the Raiders, and Janikowski missed it the second time.
Mike knows what he's doing, too.
Yes, sir.
Can Byram make it again? How cool is Wes Byram? He made the winning field goal twice. And the 4th-ranked Gators go down at home, ending an 18-game home win streak. And is that redemption for Brandon Cox or what?
Boy, he had to get that ball up in a hurry, too, because Florida had some lift there for the block attempt. Watch how quickly this ball gets up.
In your face with the Gator chomp as he leaves the field. Let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach Tuberville, I want to take you back to the fourth down play in the first half. You decide to go for it because you came to win. How hard was that decision?
Well, it's pretty hard. But when you go on the road, you got to take all the points you can get. This is a good football team in Florida, and we needed some kind of boost, so I just kind of took a gamble, and it worked.
What went through your mind when they called timeout after the successful first try?
Well, I saw that on TV the other day, I think, in the pros, and somebody did that, and it worked for them. But Wesley stood in there and kicked it. You know, that's what it's all about. You got to make plays when they're there.
Wes, you're a true freshman. What was going through your mind after you had to go through that again?
Just to get down there and hit the field goal. I mean, we worked hard all week to beat them, and practice was rough, but we came through, so.
Good job, freshman.
Thank you.
Guys?
Holly, what a weekend. One upset after another, and this was one of the staggering ones as well, as Auburn comes in here a 3-touchdown underdog, and they win it 20-17. SportsCenter coming up next over on ESPN News, a post-game extra. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Tom Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, everybody, and good night from Gainesville, Florida.